You think Tyler Perry regrets putting on that dress? I don't.
Hell no.
Yeah, right? That's what I'm saying.
A billion?
He put the on?
Yeah.
The belly?
Yeah.
I think at one point he had a camel toe.
Yeah.
All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice, that's why. All my life, I've been grinding all my life. Look, all my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice, that's why. All my life, I've been grinding all my life.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Club Shay Shay. I am your host, Shannon Sharpe. I'm also the proprietor of Club Shay Shay. The guy that's stopping by for conversation and a drink today is a famed stand-up comedian, writer, producer, director, businessman. He's had massive success in the comedy as an actor on the big screen. He's been entertaining audiences for almost 3 decades. Damn long time. Performed out to sold-out audience in clubs and theaters nationwide. He won Funniest Serviceman in America. He's the funniest black comedian in San Diego. He's the only white man to ever host BET Comic View, Black America's funniest white comedian. They tell me he's welcome to any barbecue or reunion. We'll see if that's still standing after this conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, Gary Owens.
How you doing?
I'm good, bro. How are you?
I have autism.
There you go. Come on.
Sorry, I couldn't help it. It was too easy. I just self-diagnosed myself. I just realized it right now.
Is it gonna be? No.
I'm sorry. Too soon?
I was hoping like you get like maybe 5 minutes in. 5 minutes in. How long do you got? You order, you know?
I usually women brown liquor light because brown, I've had some bad experiences.
Yeah. But you know, hey, but this right here. This is my own cognac.
Smooth?
It's smooth.
Everybody told me don't drink it.
No, I'm telling you.
You're going to tell too much.
You gonna love it. You gonna love it.
This is like the movie Get Out. This is the tea. This is the tea, bro.
It takes about 5 to 10 minutes to sit in. Yeah. Sink. The 82-game preseason is in the books, and it's finally time for the real season. Don't miss out on any NBA playoff action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. From the play-in tournament through the finals, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered with same-game parlays, live betting, odds boosts, and much more. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use code Shannon. New customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's the code Shannon, only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Over the last couple of years, last couple of months, I've seen you post a lot of stuff. You've gone through something publicly. You went through a public divorce. How hard was that for you, considering that was someone that you had loved, you have kids with? How hard was that for you to see that play out publicly?
Dude, you waste no time.
Yeah, we gonna.
I thought we'd start slowly.
We gonna get
right in.
Yeah, we gonna get to there.
It's not something I ever thought would happen, like a public divorce.
Yeah.
It's weird because when I wanted the divorce, I called her. I thought we was gonna be cool. And we both said, like, let's be an example of how a divorce should be. Doesn't have to be like throwing stones. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, well, I do know what happened, but
what happened?
I know how it got public because I filed.
Okay.
And I called her. I said, look, I don't want you to be blindsided. There's going to be a process server coming because we had a house in Ohio and a house in California.
Okay.
But we voted in Ohio.
Right.
We paid taxes in Ohio. So I filed in Ohio.
Right.
And I filed in a small country town where they're used to like plumbers and waitresses
right.
getting a divorce.
It'll never get out.
Oh, never getting out. And that wasn't the goal to get out.
Right.
So it just, when I went and met with the lawyer and said, I want a divorce. And she goes, okay, they got to submit all this paperwork. Mm-hmm. And there's only 2 judges in this town. So you're at the mercy of them.
Right.
So when I left, I thought I just got to not come home for a couple weeks because you got to be able to homestead and things like that. And then it took like 2 months. So I kept coming with these goofy reasons why I couldn't come home. Like, yeah, we're going to add a show on Monday and all this other stuff. And I'm going to do a podcast and never came out. I'm just stalling, right? I literally come to Laura, so I'm out of excuses. I'm going to have to tell her. And the day I told her, the next day.
Oh, you were stalling her because she was in Ohio. Correct?
No, she was in California.
She was in California.
I'm in Ohio, but I'm on the road every weekend.
Right.
So it was during COVID.
Okay.
So all the comedy clubs were half full.
Right.
And we were adding shows on Monday, but then I was doing like Wednesday through Monday at the comedy clubs. Mm-hmm. And then finally the paperwork came in and my lawyer called me and says, they're on the way to go serve her. Mm-hmm. And I went, oh. So I was like, I'm going to call her. I don't want her to get blindsided. I don't want my son to answer the door or anything like that. So I called her. I said, look, I'm not happy. I want a divorce. And then she was like, she was cool. And then I said, look, I don't want somebody knocking on the door to surprise you because the process server is on the way. She goes, wait a minute, you've already met with a lawyer? And that's when everything flipped. I go, all right. I got the Ring camera on my phone. The process server's knocking. I see her knocking. And I go, somebody's at the door. She goes, it's Amazon. I was like, oh, this ain't gonna go well. And then she never answered the door. So then the next day we're on the phone. We're still being cordial, everything. I thought we was cool. The next day, I'm in Naples, Florida. I get off stage after the first show. I look at my phone. That's when TMZ got a hold of it. And that's when it said she filed for divorce against me and in LA County. I go, wait a minute. We don't live in LA. We lived in the Bay.
Right.
So while she's talking to me, it's all fair in love and war. I stalled.
Right.
I'm lying. And then she went down and she filed against me in LA. To this day, I don't know why, unless she wanted to play out on social media because we didn't live there.
Right.
I didn't understand that play. But that's when TMZ got a hold of it.
Okay.
And that's when the narrative came out that she left me, and then everything started to come out.
Well, but I thought you had a conversation. Had you had a conversation leading up to you actually filing? Had there been some conversation, or had there been something going on in the marriage that you wanted out?
I think I was good at compartmentalizing things.
Okay.
I think she was too. So, as a comedian, we can leave. So if things are getting rough at the house or you're just not happy, you can get on the road.
Right.
And you just come back. So I was very good at compartmentalizing things. So then when the TMZ happened, my lawyer was like, yo, you got a show? I got another one, because I'm calling her because my phone started to blow up.
Right.
And she goes, you can't go on stage tonight. I said, I got another show in like 30 minutes.
Right.
And she goes, look, we're worried the process server's on the way to serve you. I said, well, what does that mean? She goes, well, if you get served, chances are the divorce will go down in California. California's a 50-50 state, which means she can get half your money for the rest of your life. I said, say less, this show's over.
Hold on, but you got people pay good money to see you perform, Gary. How you?
I went up.
Okay.
But let me tell you what I did. I went up. I couldn't have been any farther back on that stage because I don't know if a process server's coming. So I'm up against the wall.
Right.
And my head's on the swivel the whole time. If anybody got up to go to the bathroom, I go, what you doing, player? So then I got off. And then I was on the run for like 4 months. So this is March of 2021.
Right.
We finally got it. Man, she's avoiding the process server. I'm avoiding the process server. It's a cat and mouse game. And I'm researching. So what I found out was you can't, well, in my line of work, the two most common places at the airport and on stage.
Right, correct.
And we've seen people get served on stage before.
Correct.
So I had security with me. They sit in the front row at my shows. So nobody would know I had somebody planted. And I said, nobody can come up. Nobody can come up. And then I would never fly into the studio I was performing in.
Correct.
So after everything hit the fan, the next week I was in Baltimore. I flew into Pittsburgh, drove my down to Baltimore. And at one point I stopped at a Starbucks and this one brother was like, oh, Gary Owen. He was chasing me around Starbucks. He's like, man, I just want a picture. I said, dude, I can't help you today. And I don't know if he was a fan or a process server.
Right.
And my opener was in the car. I said, start the car. We jumped in like Bo and Luke Duke, taking off. The last thing I remember is this brother outside of Starbucks doing this. So I'm just on the run. I hemmed up at the Four Seasons in Baltimore for 2.5 weeks. Never left my room. I was under Mohammed Shabazz. Figured nobody's gonna know that's me. They ain't looking for no Mohammed Shabazz.
Nah.
And my opener was, he was at the Renaissance where they thought I was gonna stay at. Right. So he was registered under my name because my schedule's on the internet.
Right.
So there was a lot of cat and mouse, man. At one point I was in Miami at the Aloft by the airport, hemmed up for a week. I didn't know that's like a sex trafficking hotel.
Oh my goodness.
I'm sitting here going to the lobby like, something's not right here.
You worried about divorce and you might be get caught up in a
So I'm going, I had to call my boy. I said, hey man, I'm at the Aloft. Something's wrong here. He's like, this is kind of seedy. He was like, you don't know what that is? That's a sex trafficking hotel. I said, shut up. So I'm like, I didn't know.
Right.
So then at one point I called an old high school friend. I was staying at his house in West Virginia. I'm paying cash everywhere. I ain't on social media.
Right.
I'm off, changed my cell phone number. I'm off the grid. And we couldn't get her either. I was like, man, She's hard to get. And the processor kept calling me saying, man, we can't get her. So I said, screw it. 24/7 surveillance on the house. I said, we got to get her served, man. Right. And so I got this bill for like $25,000 from the process server. I was like, you ain't even served her yet. Yeah. And so what I did, I hired an outside process server from Cincinnati. Me and her flew from Cincinnati to Sacramento. We get to Sacramento, we drive over. I still got the gate to the neighborhood. I still got the parking garage. Go through the neighborhood. I read the parking garage raises up. She's not there. I said, I know her. She's at the grocery store or the mall. And so, sure enough, she's pulling out of the Safeway parking lot. I said, no freaking way, that's her. So now we're far on the highway, and she goes, you gotta get down. She can see you. I was like, so I hop in the back seat, and I'm riding like this. I don't know where we're going. So then she stopped. She goes to Panera Bread, shouts out to Panera, and she got stuck in the drive-thru. So she got a car in front of her, car behind her. And I don't know where we're at. Like, I'm in the back seat.
Right.
And the process server's like, it's go time. I said, go? This ain't Jason Bourne. What are we doing? He's some papers. And so she gets up to her, and right when she's placing her order, this process server was like just next to her car. She just stood up. And she was like, you're served. I was like, oh! And I'm on the passenger side. She don't see I'm filming her.
Right.
So we got her, and I bought a one-way ticket. I was fully prepared to stay as long as we got to. But we got her within like an hour. Right. And then I had to immediately get a one-way ticket out of Oakland back to Ohio. So immediately. So we got it. We got it in Ohio. That's when the divorce happened.
How did it get so contentious? You have kids. Y'all been together 2 decades. Mm-hmm. How did it become so contentious if this was something you both knew that needed to happen, both wanted it to happen? Was it because you beat her to the punch? Or what was there? Was there infidelity on somebody's part?
Oh, yeah, mine. I'm not going to lie about it now. Yeah.
But you lied about it then. Because did she ask
I got caught a couple times. It's not like I never got caught. Okay. I wasn't that great at it. You know what I mean? And you got to realize, like, we was together 23 years, married 17.
Wow.
You know, she knows all my good points and bad points. Right. I know all hers.
Right.
So I left 3 times during the marriage. And the others nobody knew. And I always came back for the kids. Like, I didn't want nobody else raising my kids and everything. So, I mean, the first time I left out, man, I took the kids with me. We drove from LA, so we was living in LA at the time, to Dallas. And we just got in an argument at Chipotle. Of all places, Chipotle. Damn. We got a knockdown drag. I said, I'm out. So I had the kids with me. We take off. I'll never forget. We drove this was 2004. This was the night, I'll never forget. It was the night the Roy Jones, Antonio Tarver fight. When Roy got knocked out.
Yeah.
And then I'll never forget. I wanted to see, and that was, I'm not gonna say what the argument was over, but it was over that fight. I wanted to go see the fight, and she didn't
want you to go.
She didn't want me to go, but she wanted me to put the kids in daycare. It was so minor looking back on it.
Right.
And I go, I'm not gonna take them to daycare. Daycare closes at 6. I'll be back at 5:30.
Right.
Then I'm gonna go over to Reggie's house and watch the fight. And she goes, no, just take them to daycare. The whole argument was basically over 30 minutes. That I'll keep the kids all day, but just be home at 5:30. And then she goes, no, I don't know if I'll be home by then. So that was the argument, basically. Wow. So I got so just done. I was like, I'm out. My kids are both in diapers. I take off. I don't even know where I'm going. I just started driving. I got to Palm Springs. I stopped at like a Walmart and got diapers and toys for them. And then I got to Phoenix. We stayed all night in Phoenix. I got up next day, called a friend of mine in Dallas. I said, look, I'm out. Can I come over to your house?
Right.
And I remember she was like, where are you at? I was like, Phoenix. I'm in the car. And then we drove the next day. I'll never forget. We got somewhere in Texas. We got to Texas. I didn't realize how big Texas is.
Yeah.
I got to El Paso. I'm thinking I'm almost in Dallas. I don't know. That's a whole nother day going, right? I remember at one point we stopped at some seedy gas station like you're in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And my son I don't think he was in diapers. No, he wasn't. My daughter was in diapers. He wasn't. But he's peeing like next to this abandoned gas station on this dirt road. And we had one of the big excursions at the time. I got the back. I'm changing my daughter in the back. I see this car coming on the road. I go, wait a minute. If this car stops and something's wrong, we're done.
Right.
I was telling my son, I was like, Austin, get over here. He's running this little fucking thing. He's trying to pull up his underwear. I said, come on. I'm holding my daughter. Right. We took off. And I don't know if anything's going to happen or not. But
did she call the cops or something, say you had taken the kids? I mean.
No, no. She didn't call the cops. Okay. She was, I called her, I left Saturday, and then I called her Monday morning. And I just said, look, I'm sick of arguing, things like that. And then she flew out to Dallas, and she stayed for like a day, like a week. And then we end up reconciling. Yeah. But then she flew back with the kids, and I had to drive back by myself because I took the excursion.
You do realize this is not normal, that when someone takes the kids and they don't make contact with the other parent for 2 days and the other parent don't reach out, you know that's not normal, Gary.
No, she was trying to reach out.
But you just wouldn't return the call.
Well, no, I wasn't. I tried to go with an excuse. I messed that one up. Like, I'm not perfect. I know I'm not perfect in all this. Right. And it's so random because, the divorce is like weird. Like, somebody has to be the bad guy.
Right.
And for whatever reason, I became the bad guy in the middle of this divorce. Right. And for the longest time, I didn't say anything. But I think now, like, I'm so emotionally unattached to that her now. So now I feel like, yeah, I can talk about it. What could go wrong on Club Shay Shay?
How much?
What could go wrong here? Because she gonna respond, bro. Believe me, this is coming.
Let me ask you a question. How much do you think that this divorce has to do with the pent up that she forgave you several times for your indiscretions? And she's like, I forgave you. And here you blindside me with this divorce.
Yeah, look. I'm not saying I did everything right at all. I'm not innocent here.
Right.
But I'm not ever gonna, I think she knows all my indiscretions. Mm-hmm. I know hers. So I don't think it's gonna do anybody good for me to like try to trash her.
Right.
And talk about things she did.
No.
But neither of us was perfect in the marriage. Right. Like, we can go into a litany of reasons.
Right.
So I'm just like, I guess she just felt the need to bring up all, and the bad part was like, yeah, there was infidelity, but she kept getting all the girls wrong. I was like, I didn't sleep with Claudia Jordan or her friend. I was like, I didn't do that. I kept looking like, that's all wrong. That wasn't her. It was Jennifer Jordan. I'm kidding.
She wanted $44,000 a month. The kids are grown. Whoa. The kids are grown now, right?
Yeah.
The kids are grown.
Yeah.
She wanted $44,000 a month.
Yeah.
And you like, oh, hell no.
Yeah. What do you think I said? It did make me look like a baller, though. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, you're like, okay.
I was like, Gary got cake like that? I like bakery. Yeah, that was a hell of a number.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you think like, did you ask your lawyer, how did she arrive at that number? That number. I mean, who she think? I mean.
That's a lot. And it's tax free.
Yes.
Alimony's tax free.
Absolutely.
So do the math on that. $44,000 a month times 12. That's $500,000.
Yeah.
That's like $900,000 if you think about it with taxes.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
And just think about the time in which she's going to get that.
Right. That part.
That's what you were thinking too.
That part. That part. That was a lot. Yeah, I was like, here's the thing too. Like, it's funny. Like, I took on all the debt with the divorce too.
Yeah.
Like you got debt.
Yeah.
I took all of it, and it was a lot. I took all of it. And I said, no, I got it. I got it. Don't worry about it. So I was like, I didn't like getting dragged saying like I'm a deadbeat dad. And then it was like I left everybody hanging. Mm-hmm. That wasn't the case. Like, I got the text. Like, I literally said, hey, send me the bills. I got it. And she was like, no, that's not how we do things. So I was like, well, I don't know what you want me to do here.
Right.
I said, I'm paying off all this debt we got. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, the big thing was the house. She wanted to stay in the house. I go, we got to sell the house.
Yeah.
We have to.
Yeah.
And I took.
You can stay there, but you got to pay the note on it.
Well, it was more than that. I'm not going to get into it, but there was some other stuff going on.
Okay.
There was taxes involved.
Right.
IRS involved.
Right, okay.
So I was like, we got to sell it. We got to pay these dudes off.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, but I made sure, I made sure when everything was said and done and we went to mediation, I was like, I'll take on the debt. I'll make sure you got enough alimony that you're good. You're really good, by the way. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'll pay your first year of rent when you get a new place. And we put a number on it, and it was a lot. This ain't like $800 a month.
Right.
It was a lot.
Right.
So I was like, I got you. I'm just trying to make sure.
At this point in time, you're trying to keep the peace.
All I do is keep the peace, and I want everybody to be comfortable.
Right.
Listen, I'm not vindictive. I'm not mad. I get it's love and war, but I feel like I was very generous in the divorce, you know?
Looking at it, I could be wrong, you didn't have a prenup.
Hey, no, we didn't have a prenup. No.
Why didn't you? Because you were already a comedian. You was already even if you was making $50 a show, you was already making money. Don't you want to, like, if I come into a situation, this is the way I look at it. And I tell my homeboys this. I ask them, do they have a prenup? They say no. They say, I ain't got no money. I say, when I leave, I want all of my nothing. I don't want 50% of my nothing. So Gary, you already, let's just say for the sake of argument, when you started, you making $200 a show.
Yeah.
You're doing 3-4 shows a week. That's $800. Like you said, multiply that times a month, times a year, times 12. Yeah. Why would you not?
Stupid. What do you want me to say? Stupid.
That's what love would do.
Dumb on my part.
Would you get married again?
Yeah. Not in California.
Would you have a prenup?
Without question, it's going to be prenup. And there's no argument there, because anytime you do a prenup, it's like the man's point of view is yours.
Yes.
And the woman's point of view is, well, it's like you're setting us up to break up.
No.
Now, like, and the man's point of view is like, prove to me you really love me.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
So yeah, the prenup is a required thing now.
Yeah.
You learn over time.
Yeah. I don't get insurance on my car to go rear end or T-bone somebody.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have if you do.
You ain't lying about that.
You did a reality show. Do you regret doing that show and bringing people into your lives?
No, that was fun. That was fun. And now, the state I'm at with my kids is like, I have a timestamp. I can always go back and watch that stage of their life. And, you know, because we got footage of them at 15, 14 years old. You know what I mean? So I don't regret that at all. And then, you know, everybody got paid. My kids got a trust out of it that we put their money away so they can have it later on. So everything, I don't regret it at all.
It worked out.
I thought, it would have been nice to have more seasons.
Right.
But it was cool. I don't regret it at all.
Vow renewals, do they work?
Because you saw we had one?
I'm just asking. I'm just asking.
Your research team is something special.
Do they work? And why do they do? Is that a man's thing or is that a woman thing? Is that something jointly? Who wanted to say, let's renew our vows?
Well, our wedding was jacked up.
Oh, okay. Tell us what happened at the wedding.
So we got married at if anybody knows Oakland, the first AME in Oakland, it's a black church, right? So, I mean, I'm sure we'll get into my upbringing eventually. So, first of all, we get to the wedding and I'm worried because my stepdad and my real dad don't get along. Oh. And I'm sweating this, right?
Right.
And I'm going, I had a bad feeling the whole time.
Uh-oh.
We get to the wedding. First of all, preacher walked out. He was like, I don't do weddings, don't start on time. So the wedding's supposed to start at 3. I guess it was like 3:30.
Yeah.
He just left. When he say I left, I might not be married. I gotta check into that. So her like cousin Melvin worked at UPS. I guess he's ordained. He did it. He did the wedding.
So hold on. The official pastor that was supposed to preside over the ceremony.
Yeah.
Because you were late, he's like, I'm up out of here, deuces.
I wasn't late. You know I wasn't late. Was John Elway ever late to practice? No, he wasn't. Okay. I bet you Steve Atwater was.
So somebody showed up late. 30 minutes late.
Obviously, the woman shows up late. But obviously, you know that, though.
But you know it takes them a little longer, though.
Yeah, of course. Nobody's mad about that. But
clearly the pastor
he left. He was double booked. He had another wedding.
Oh,
clearly the other wedding probably
they paid a little bit more. Yeah.
He leaves. So I'm like, all right, we get through that. Not a big deal. Then we get to the reception. Bakery drops our cake. We got a 5-tier cake. The lady, I guess, slipped. Beep. That bitch went down. So, you know, the bride and groom get announced.
Yeah.
We sitting behind this door for like 45 minutes. I'm like, what is going on? I don't realize everybody cleaned up the cake on the reception floor. They said she dipped it right in front of the wedding table.
Oh, my goodness.
So it just went out. So then we're getting ready to do the bouquet and the garter.
Okay.
And the bar was in the other room. I grabbed my brother Dallas. I said, let's go have a drink real quick. So we in there just having a drink. And then I hear, there's a fight. And I went, all right. I already knew what it was. I go out there, my stepdad's getting dragged out, my biological dad's doing this, and I was like, what happened? And they was like, they got in a fight. Like, not a fight, but my stepdad sucker punched my real dad at the wedding, right? So then, finally, the next day, I see my stepdad. I was like, well, what happened? Because the reception was basically over at that point, right? He goes, he looked at me funny. I said, what? I said, he didn't say nothing? He goes, nah, he looked at me funny. I was like, you hit him because he looked at you? He goes, nah, it wasn't a normal face. It wasn't a normal face. He looked at me like, I wasn't around when Gary's growing up. I f***ed your wife before you, and something else. He goes, I'm still at the wedding, ha, ha, ha. I said, damn, he said all that in the face? I said, that's a hell of a face. I ain't never seen a face like that. What's the face? Face that. So that's really why we wanted the vow renewal and we did it on the reality show, because I always felt like she didn't get the wedding that she wanted. So when BET came with the reality show, we was like, well, let's do, the pilot was the vow renewal. It ended up being the last episode. But that was the pilot. And so, yeah, it was cool. It was cool.
Did you think after everything that transpired that you would make it 17 years?
Nah.
Yeah, bro.
And
bro,
entertainment business too.
Yeah, you kind of doomed from the start.
Well, I was doomed for various reasons. If I'm self-analyzing myself and not to put blame on everybody else, shouts out to Amanda and Monique. Sorry, couldn't help myself. That was too easy. Oh, man. That was too easy, bro. No, that's too easy. I'm sorry. Comedians, listen, if you're a comedian, you get offended by stuff you say, you in the wrong line of work. You know, you set yourself up. But anyways, I wasn't equipped. Yeah. And I got married, honestly looking back, I just wasn't equipped. A terrible upbringing. Didn't know how to tell myself I'm enough. And at the same time, going through all this self-evaluation, I meet my ex, and then now I'm like, oh, okay, I could probably be a decent dad. I could probably do this. And then I get on BET. I'm starting to get attention now from women that I never got before. So now you're in rooms, you're in situations, and women are coming at you, and I'm in my 20s. It's a little different.
Just say no.
Huh?
Just say, you remember that phrase? You old enough to remember that phrase, just say no?
Just say no to them tossing your salad. Pause. No Diddy. Again. Sorry. Going too far. I'm going too far. Sorry about that. It's the liquor.
That's what it is. But the social media aspect of it. Because, a part of you wants to defend yourself, but then you just add fuel to the fire.
That's all you do.
If you do. Yep. But how hard was it for you? Because she was
coming.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, she was coming. Yeah. I just shut up. Because I was like, I didn't want to get on social media until somebody got served.
Right.
Because I'm thinking she's like Inspector Gadget. I was like, she was knowing stuff. I was like, how does she know this? So I was like, I just stayed on social media. I just got quiet. And this is when I knew social media isn't real life. And I think with my ex, she really reads the comments and takes them to heart when I don't.
Right.
And she does. And I would always tell her, don't read the comments on social media. It's just adding fuel to the fire. So I think with her, it helped her because people were like, I'm on your side, Gary. Ain't.
Right.
It also hurt her because then when people try to come at her, she's trying to defend herself.
Right.
So as far as social media goes, I just stayed quiet. I'll never forget I was in Baltimore after I had been in the hotel for 5 days at this point, right? Before my first show, after everything hit the fan, I got nothing to do but read social media. So I'm sitting there, I ain't shit. I'm a cheater, I'm all this. I'm like, all right. I get on stage in Baltimore. Huh?
Part of that true though.
Yeah. I'm not saying it ain't. I'm not saying it ain't. But, I'm about 45 minutes into my set in Baltimore, and this lady in the back goes, I love you, little cheating. And I was like, you don't know how bad I need to hear that right now. Because I'm thinking I'm going to go on stage, I'm about to get booed.
Right.
Because I'm reading this shit for 5 days.
Right.
I'm thinking, they about to hate me. Social media had me thinking, I'm not invited to cookouts.
Right.
Black people hate me.
Nah.
Don't leave. And then I get on stage, it's like, I love you, little cheating. I told that lady, I said, you don't know how bad I need to hear that right now.
Right.
So.
But to hear that you're a deadbeat, what's your relationship with your kids right now?
I don't have one. It's been 3.5 years.
Really?
Yeah.
How hard is that for you?
What do you think? It's a nightmare. It's like they're my greatest accomplishments and my greatest failure at the same time. Because my daughter graduated summa cum laude from her school, she's going to grad school, doing her thing. My son's working with kids, and to hear how they talk about him, they love him. He's patient. I haven't seen him. So back in November, I was back in the Bay where he lives. So I went to his job just to lay eyes on him because I hadn't seen him in so long. So I didn't tell him I was coming. I fell back. I blended in with the other parents, and then because he's working with kids, and then I just got to see him amongst in his element. And so I went on my podcast and I said, yeah, I got to see my son. It was nice, and I said I'm proud of him. It's doing good, And I had a part in that. And then our oldest, we don't ever say step, but our oldest. He's living back in Ohio, got a house, got a girl, just working, doing his thing. So as far as like success, I have 3 kids, never got a phone call ever when they was in school, they was a problem. Never had a problem meeting friends. They were never out wilding. So we did our job as parents. But to see how it's just crashed and burned since the divorce, and this is all since the divorce.
Do you believe she played a role in the divide with your kids?
I'll say, I'll take the blame because I didn't ensure that my relationship with them was so strong that no matter what anybody said to them, they could be like, nah, my dad's good. So, I was gone a lot.
Right.
I'm on the road.
Right.
And that's part of the deal. But I really don't know. I don't want to throw stones at stuff I don't know. I don't know if she's at the house saying your dad ain't shit. I don't know. I mean, I do know blasting me on social media didn't help. And then other shit happened we'll get into in a little bit where my real dad didn't help.
Right.
There's other things. But it was just like, I just don't know where it got so bad. Right. You know what I mean? That I'm just literally the worst human being on the planet. And it's funny, I ran into my ex last week. We was on a plane. I'm on a plane from Atlanta to Cincinnati.
Come on, Gary.
I ain't got nowhere to lie now. I just said I cheated. That's been the freaking elephant in the room. So I got nothing to hide anymore. So I'm sitting there and I see her on the plane. I go, ain't no way this is happening. Ain't no way this is happening.
That's what I'm saying.
I went like, I was in the window like.
You like a kid. You like a kid looking out the window.
Yeah, that's my bag. So she didn't see me when she got on the plane. We go to baggage claim. She sees me. She comes up. We start talking, and that's when I was like, I said I'm just kind of asking her like, how do we get this right with the kids? And then I keep telling her like, look, when they call, I'm there. I don't care if I got to show them, cancel it. The minute they say, Dad, I'm ready to talk, I'm out.
Right.
I'll go to where they're at. So when I talked to her about the kids, I told her, I said, I wish you would
help
just
facilitate
say it's time. It's time, because they do listen to you.
Yes.
Enough. There's no abuse here. There's no mental abuse. There's no physical abuse. They had a great childhood.
Yes.
Great. Private school, paid for my daughter's college. I mean, just stuff you're supposed to do if you have it as a dad.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm just like, I don't know how I became this evil human being that they want nothing to do with. I was like, I'm not perfect. I read somewhere that somebody said, when you go through the divorce, when kids are little, they idolize their dad. And then when divorce happens, they demonize them. And then as time goes by, they humanize them. Clearly, I'm in the demon stage right now. But it's just been so long that I got to sneak around to try to just lay eyes on them. Like when the Bengals went to the Super Bowl, right? I got tickets. So I texted both of them because when I call, they won't answer. So I got a text. And sometimes they respond, sometimes they don't. So I was like, I got tickets. I got 4. You guys want to go? And they was both like, no. So I was like, dang. And then
that's it. Just no, not love with Dad. I had other plans. I got other arrangements.
I ain't gonna say what they said, but it wasn't pretty. And then I said I flew to Greensboro, where my daughter was in school, and knocked on her door, and she wouldn't answer the door. And then my ex ended up calling and was like, my road manager was with me. She didn't know he was with me. She called my road manager and she was like, "Why is he at the door? Why is he at the door?"
So she's looking out the door and see.
No, my daughter called.
That's what
her.
I'm saying.
So she's like, why is he at the door?
Yes.
And he's like, he's just trying to see her. She goes, no, it's not time. She's not ready. She said, write a letter and put it in the mail. I go, what?
People still write letters?
This ain't 1985.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that happened. Then I found out she was flying. I found out one of her flights one time. I ran in her at the airport. And I was like, I kept my distance. I didn't run up on her. And I waved and she waved back. And I was like, oh, want to have a shot here? And then she dipped in the bathroom. And at 45 minutes, I waited and she never came out. And I just went, so I left. And then when I went to her graduation, they made it very clear, don't come up, don't talk to her, don't approach her, or nothing like that. I was like, so I don't know how, at this point, I don't know how to reconcile the relationship. I'm just letting them know that I love them, I'm proud of them, and whenever they call, I don't care where I'm at, I'm there. I've told them, I said, you want to go to Hawaii? You want to go to Dubai? Where you want to go? Because we can go. We can go somewhere so far away and just sit down and have it out. So I literally don't know what to do at this point.
When you're looking at the relationship that you currently have with your kids, how much of your mind replays the relationship that you had with your biological father?
We didn't really have one growing up. He wasn't around too much. He just kind of popped in and out. So, like I said, I had an absentee father, an abusive stepfather. So that's not good. I didn't know how to be a dad. So like I said, I don't want to trash my ex, because when we first got together, she had a son. And I literally was like, came home one day, I said, I'm gonna break up. And she goes, what do you mean? You just like, I just moved in with her. She was like, you just moved in. I said, I'm scared that your son is gonna look at me like I look at my stepdad, and I'm scared I'm gonna turn into him. And she was like, don't worry about it. She goes, just follow my lead. I'll tell you what to do, and if you're going wrong, and that's all you gotta do. So I think that's what I did for a lot of the relationship. I just kind of did what she said when I was home and didn't like try to rock the boat. But yeah, it scared me. But yeah, my biological dad, he's a bag. God damn, dude. I'm so mad I came out of his nutsack. That.
But hold on, Gary, you're gonna have to reconcile because
with him?
Yes.
Nah, bruh.
Forgiveness is not for him. It's for you. Look how you talking. Your emotions are being held hostage. You're not free.
Free from that.
No. You're not free from your emotions.
Mate, I mean, this is a relationship with my real dad. So, wasn't around a lot growing up. And then he'd pop up every now and then.
Right.
And then, there were countless Sundays you're waiting on him, he doesn't show up.
Right.
And then get older, get on TV, get in a couple movies, all of a sudden he's coming around a little bit.
Yeah.
He's wanting all the perks. Because I always heard people like, be careful, man. You got people out there using you. I never realized it was my dad the whole time. Because I'm blinded, because I want the relationship with my dad.
Right.
So during the course of the divorce, at one point, nobody was served yet. I flew home to Cincinnati. I want to go to a Reds game. I got to do something, but I can't sit in the stands. I'm scared I'm going to get served. So I got a rep that works for the Reds. He got a suite for me, not in my name. I paid for it. I called my buddy. 5, 6 guys came. We had a good day at the ballpark. Nobody took pictures. Nobody did social media posts. We just hung out. Next morning, 7:17 in the morning, I wake up. I got a voicemail from my dad. He's like, hey, it's your dad, and you don't respect me. And he's just cussing me out, telling me I don't respect him, and said, I'm out of your life. And
Is he intoxicated at this
No,
time?
this is in the morning. This is 7:17 in the morning. Now, he don't drink like that. So I was like, what does he mad? He never said why he was mad. So I get a text about an hour later, and it's like a book. He's like, I heard you came to the Reds game. You didn't invite me. I've come to expect this behavior from you. My other kids keep me in their lives. You don't. I'm going, this is over a Reds game? So I called him. And when I called him, I immediately was like, Dad, I got your voicemail. I got your text. And he goes, yeah, I meant every word of it. I was like, this ain't going to go well. So we started to talk.
Right.
And it's getting heated.
Uh-oh.
Right? And the week before I came home, so I got 2 identical twin sisters. they did like a family photo shoot and nobody called and invited me. But that's normal with that side, right?
Okay.
So, because I wasn't in the house with them. My sister's so much younger than me. So I wasn't tripping, but I was like, it would have been cool if someone would have called, but I wasn't tripping. So in the course of him cussing me out over a Reds game, I said, Dad, you took family pictures and didn't even invite me.
Right.
And he goes, oh, I knew this was coming. Here comes this. That's when that's the only time I snapped. I said, fuck you, your wife, family, homie, and hung up on him. And that's the last conversation we had. Then let me tell you what he did. He started calling my ex that he wanted nothing to do with, been on my side during the divorce, started giving all his dirt on me. All this dirt. And he's posting it on his Facebook page. Posting shit about me on his Facebook. Then he posted a picture of my ex-wife on his Facebook page and was like, I got you back to this divorce. He's always been like a daughter to me. He don't even like black people. He's a Trump thumper. Not Trump supporter, Trump thumper. I ain't saying he went to the Capitol. He was at the monument when they rushed it. He made the trip. But now he wants to support a black woman.
I will say this, and I'll leave it alone, and it's the same applies for your kids. There can never be freedom without forgiveness.
Forgive them.
Your kids are not free either. They're going to come a time. They will, I promise you.
Was I wrong?
No, you wasn't wrong. But just because you weren't wrong in that instant, that doesn't mean you can't make it right.
How do you make it right then?
Maybe it's going to take time.
You think?
I think so. But here's the thing. I think he has this perception of you, like you said, because once you became someone, he could extrapolate something from you. You have this, and rightfully so, him bouncing in and out of your life, never being there, being the father that you wanted. Little do you know, you became that guy, even though that was your occupation.
Came what guy?
Wasn't there because you're on the road so much with your kids.
Right.
And they look at you the same way you look at your father.
Interesting.
That's how they're looking at you.
But it was so, I think
He was there like you said, you put him through private school, you paid for college. Those are the sacrifices that you have to make sometimes that you miss out on.
But listen, I never missed a birthday. I never missed a game. I made sure, like, there was times, man, if they had a game, and I'm not flying private, I'm flying commercial.
Yeah.
I'm getting up in the morning, and sometimes driving to an airport that had a hub. So I'm driving like 2-3 hours to get to an airport so I can get a direct flight to get to Cincinnati so I can make the game and then get back to my show that night. I go, because I know what it's like to look in the stands and not see your dad. I know what it's like to have like a recital and not see your dad. So I didn't miss stuff like that. Like, so to say like I did everything in my power not to become him, to hear like they think of me like that was my biggest fear, having kids.
Right.
Is to feel how I feel about my dad and my stepdad, and we ain't gotten to that yet. That is my biggest fear.
Right.
So to have it play out like this, it was my worst nightmare.
Help me understand. I want to see if this is true, because I read this. Your former show opener told your wife about some of the indiscretions you were having on the road.
Yep. That
really?
in my life.
Really, G?
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, I get why Kevin keeps the Plastic Cup boys. I get why Katt keeps people around him. And I'm not talking about to hide secrets like cheating. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about those dudes you got to trust, because you're with them more than your family half the time.
Absolutely.
You got to get along with them. You got to be able to open up to them. Like, I'm having issues at the house. Those are like your therapists on the road. So this dude that I fired in 2018, when my divorce happens, the fact that he called her and they started talking and he started telling her dirt about me, I was like, because we's in mediation. This is like out of a movie. We in mediation. And she goes, yeah, I know. Look, Gary, I know about the girls. I ain't mad about that. And then she started naming off these girls, and some were right and some were wrong. But there's one in particular, I went, wait a minute. I didn't move. She said, I know about this. So I'm making up a name. I know about Sally. I'm going with the white name because you know it ain't true. Yeah. She said, I know about Sally. She goes, this dude, he told me you fired him because you found out he slept with her. And I went, so here I am. I'm just making movements at this point. I go, because I'm like, wait a minute. So now it's hitting me. Wow. She found out about this girl that is like, I'm talking, this was years ago.
Right.
I'm going through my Rolodex, even when she said the name, I'm like, oh my God, what? And then she goes, yeah, he said you fired him because you found out he slept with her too. So now I'm sitting like, wait a minute. She knows I slept with this girl, and I didn't know my opener slept with her too. So I go, wait a minute, this motherfucker behind my back.
Right.
This will tell you, you get killed in the Sopranos for that. Right. So I was like, oh. Yeah, so I'm not even gonna say his name. He don't deserve it.
And you know it had to be, he had to have told, because at the time she didn't bring it up. She didn't mention anything about it. So she couldn't have known. And
he was the only one that knew. There was some information only he and I knew.
Right.
So I was like, But that's why he's at where he's at in his career right now. You can find him at a coffee shop near you.
Is it hard being on the road? And a lot of times you travel alone, and women, like you said, they come up, hey, man, that's Gary. Oh, he great. He been in the movies, yada, yada, yada. And you know, you're like, well, you know, here's your boy G. You know, what's up? What it do?
Yeah.
Does that get hard?
When you say hard,
yeah.
I'm just kidding. What gets hard? It does.
Does it get hard to say no?
It does. Yeah, it's not the easiest, especially when you grew up like I did, where I didn't have attention.
Right.
I didn't have nobody tell me I'm great.
Right.
You know, so to get people like they like me, and then
damn the reasons.
Yeah, you're like, whoa, I never got attention like this.
Right.
And that's, you know, yeah. So I would tell people, it's similar to ball players and stuff. I was like, yo, I would tell women, never get married to anybody in their 20s in the entertainment or athlete or anything. I go, they got to get out of their system. You got to let them get out of their system. It's just too much access to things. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think it's easier the older you get.
Right.
But man, your 20s?
Yeah.
That's hard.
How's dating now?
Great.
So how do you meet?
This is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to keep everything off social media, because the way it played out.
Right.
Because I'm seeing somebody, but I don't want to blast it like that.
Right.
Because the internet's not good for a relationship, and you know, until I'm right with my kids, I ain't posting nothing else. Because I feel like it's almost thrown in their face a little bit. So I want to be right with them, and then maybe I'll be open to sharing my personal
Is she
life.
okay with that? Because a lot of times women want to be posted like, hey, you hiding me because you don't want nobody else to see, but you're doing this for another reason, a very good reason.
Yeah.
Is she okay with this?
She's okay. Yeah. I don't think she's tripping. She'll bring it up every now and then, but it's not like she's harping on it. She gets it.
Right.
She gets it.
There's this thing that's going around. What's an ideal first date? Is it 50-50? You take care of everything. You got to go to a restaurant that, you know, even if you get the most minor thing, it's going to be $250, $300. What's an ideal first date, Gary?
Just. I mean, that's a guy.
Off the top. Off the top.
You said ideal. That don't cost no money. That's what you want at the end of the date. The ideal first date for a man is G-Jug. That's it.
Okay. How much
we can eat after?
Yeah. How much should a first date cost? If you go out to eat, you take a lady out for a first date, how much should it cost?
And you know, it depends on how much you make. If you only make a certain amount of money, you can't take her to Prime 112 or Mastro's.
Right.
It's just not in the budget.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think women have expectations, and it is depending on how much that man makes and the status. There's a level of expectation and what they're used to dating.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think that's a loaded question.
Right.
So I don't know. That's good. A woman's got a different answer, but a guy's ideal first date.
Right. Were you always attracted to black women?
Always. It's like being gay. Gay guys know they're gay. Why are they gay? They don't know why they're gay. They're just gay.
Right.
Same way. Always liked them from birth.
So how was it growing up where you grew up?
Lonely. My hands were soft and very moisturized. Tell you that. I was a beast. I was ambidextrous on that.
So let me ask you this. So when you were first approached a black lady, female woman, we got to be careful what we say here. Some people don't like being called female. They don't like called women. When you're approached like woman. What did she say?
Which one? The first black girl that approached me?
The very first one.
Let me see.
Were you nervous?
You talking about the first time I slept with a black girl?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. Because I was in D.C. I was stationed there. I was in the Navy. And I just remember we went over her place. And I never seen hips move like that, bro. Like she was on swivel. In my hands, I was like, oh my God, how are you moving so fast? I was very inquisitive. I like to ask questions. But it was so dope because when we got done, it was so random the things you remember. So when we got done, it was just like, she went and got some orange juice. Remember she brought me some orange juice.
Yeah.
She want some orange juice? I was like this. Oh my God. I felt like the guy in Harlem Nights. Yeah, come home.
I've never come home.
Yeah. That was wild. That was a wild night.
And that from that point on.
But I knew before that.
Right.
I knew I liked black women. It's just, I don't know. I just like
Have you ever been with a white woman?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 96. Yeah, met her at the TGI Fridays. And she only messed with black dudes. And we're still friends to this day.
How you pull that off?
She's at the Fridays had happy hour.
Yes.
And she was sitting there, but she had the haircut. The white girls like black guy haircut.
Yeah.
It's like an asymmetrical bob. Mm-hmm. You know it. Mm-hmm. Just go to any summer jam.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about.
You'll see them at the Atlanta Hawks game. You ain't gonna see them at the Utah Jazz game. So we started talking, and then I do this in my act. I don't want to start doing bits on your show. But long story short, only reason she came back to my place was to prove that I could handle a white girl.
Right.
And the only reason I let her come back, I want to prove she ain't ready for this white dude. And so it was cool. It was a good experience. But when I say there was no foreplay, there was no emotions involved. It was like bing, 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 and like, all right. And then we did it. She never been with a white dude. I never been with a white girl. So we tried it.
And so now you guys, have you ever?
She found me on Facebook years later. Got 2 mixed kids. I knew it. I knew she only liked black dudes. Because this is like my early 20s, right? So I knew it. We're still friends to this day. Like, not friends, but I mean acquaintances. On Facebook. She got a hold of me on Facebook like when Facebook was just friends. There wasn't a fan page.
Right.
So it's funny because, we type every now and then and say what's up. She's cool.
How did your family react when they found out you like black women?
Like, I ain't cool with them like that. So I won't.
Mom either?
I don't talk to my mom either. Nobody.
No, you just your dad, your mom, brother, sister.
I know I sound like Amanda Seales right now. Everybody hates me. But, sorry. And I don't know, man. I don't want to bag her like that, but it's whatever. Yeah, mom's different, though. Like, I feel bad for my mom. She's just been beat down by life. And I've told her numerous times, like, I could help you. I can get you out of this, but you just got to leave that dude, my stepdad, and she won't leave him. So last time I saw my mom was May 20th, 2021, because my brother died. My brother died May 20, 2015 of a heroin overdose. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't know, how do I start this conversation? Because I got to talk about my brother to get to my mom.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I didn't know my brother was doing heroin.
Okay.
So this is how life works. Like the universe, man, it picks you up and then it humbles you at the same time. So I'm coming off Think Like a Man. I'm starting to sell a lot of tickets now, so I'm making more money than I ever had. And career's really starting to take off. And then Ride Along comes out. So now, in the course of like a year and a half, I'm in 2 #1 movies in the country. And Ride Along didn't have a big scene, but I had a scene that stuck out. So life's good. My brother calls me. First, he messaged me on Facebook because he never had a cell phone. I didn't know because drug addicts not good with money. I don't know if you knew that. So he calls me. First, he messaged me on Facebook. He goes, Gary, I'm about to call you from this number. It's my girlfriend's number. I was like, okay. He goes, I need your help. And I said, let me guess, money? And I remember he texted me. He goes, I'll punch in your. I'll never ask you for a dime. And I was like, what is the problem here? So I called him. He's crying on the phone. I don't know. He's about to shoot up. He can't stop himself. So he's like, I don't want to lose my daughter. He's crying. I don't know what's going on. He's like, Gary, I don't want to die. I got this little girl. I can't stop myself. And then the phone goes dead. And I go, I don't know what's going on right now. I call right back. His girlfriend answers. And she goes, he just shot up. So I could hear my brother moaning in the background. So I was like, what do you mean shut up? She goes, he's heroin. I was like, what? So everything's like going nuts right now in my brain. So she goes, I don't know what to do. She goes, he's an addict, and I'm like, so I said, okay, I'm gonna call my mom and then I'm gonna have her come over and get him and I'll call you right back. So I called my mom, I said, go get Dallas. He didn't overdose, he just shot up, basically. So she's all right, she runs over there. And I'm on Google now looking up heroin and rehab facilities and I don't know what to do. This is all within the course of like 5 minutes. And shouts out to my ex, because I don't want to act like she's just a terrible person. She was right there with me. She was right there looking on her computer, I'm looking on mine. And then we found a place called the Quest House in Bowling Green, Kentucky. And it was like $4,100 to get him in there for like 2 months or something like that. And so I said, all right, I called the Quest House. They was like, because heroin's a morning drug. You don't do it at night.
Right.
You do it to wake up.
Right.
So this is all going on in the morning. So I called him. I said, I'm gonna get the information. My ex runs down to the bank, gets a cashier's check, $4,100. My mom picked up Dallas. I met her at her job in the parking lot. I hopped in her car, and we drive him down to Bowling Green, Kentucky from Cincinnati, about 3-4 hour drive. We get him checked in. And he's asleep the whole time. Like, he's not waking up. That's the first time I've ever seen like a drug addict in the midst of literally just out. Like this you see on Skid Row.
Right.
That's him in the back seat, right? So it's really my head up, honestly. So then we get him down there, I check him in, and we're not a touchy-feely family like that.
Okay.
So I just remember he gave me the biggest hug. And he was like, thanks, and then we get him checked in, and then he wrote me a couple letters while he was in that meant a lot to me. I still got them. And then he gets out, and I'm calling my mom. While he's in, I said, Mom, this is what I said I got him a sponsor. In Cincinnati, I got him a sponsor. I was like, and we got to get him out of Cincinnati. You can't go back to the same places, people, because you're going to do the same things. So I called my guy in Phoenix. He worked at the comedy club there, and I'm telling him the whole story. And he's all right, look, we'll get him a job out here. We'll put him in the kitchen. I told my ex, I told my mom, I was like, look, I'm gonna go to Phoenix. I'm gonna stay with him. Got to get him on his feet. Got to get him out of that environment.
Right.
And comedy clubs, I don't know if you know this, but usually most of the managers, it's a matter of attrition. They either start at the door or they're a waitress. They show they're responsible, and then you become management. And it really is, it's
a process.
So I'm thinking, okay, if he can get there, get in the kitchen, working, maybe we'll get to the door. I'm thinking thoughts of grandeur, right? So my mom, she was like, I said, I'm going to take him to Phoenix when he gets out. And she was like, nope. She goes, you cannot take him 2,000 miles away from his daughter. And I said, Mom, do you want a dad 2,000 miles away? You want a dead dad? Because that's the options right now. And she just wouldn't do it. So I just fell back. So that was January 2014. He ended up overdosing May 20th, 2015. And in the course of that, I wasn't really talking to my mom because I did this article in BuzzFeed, and they did this thing called the how a white comic is one of the top black acts in the country. That was the article. But in the article, they asked me about my family, and I just said literally, like, my stepdad's an ass. I don't really mess with him. So when that article came out, my mom wasn't really messing with me because I talked bad about her husband. So when Dallas died, the family kind of comes back together. We let everything go. And I just remember at the funeral, I ended up buying all the food for the funeral. And my stepdad, he never said a good word about me. He said, man, where'd all the food come from? And my mom was like, Gary got it. And I just remember he looked at me, and I thought he was going to say thank you. I thought this would be the first time.
This is the moment. This is the moment. We're going to have a breakthrough moment.
No, he went and just walked away. I said, damn, he can't even say thank you for the food. So then what happens is he's got a daughter now. So the baby mama can't take care of him. She's not doing that great in life. My mom and stepdad, now they want to get custody, and I don't know any of this is happening. I get a call from the guardian ad litem, which is somebody that represents the kid in the custody battle. And she goes, hi, so is Gary on there? I said, yeah, that's him. She goes, are you, so I don't want to give my brother's last name. Are you Dallas so-and-so's brother? And I said, yeah. She goes, wow. She goes, I've had like 10 home visits, and there's no pictures of you in the house. I asked your mom, did she have any kids we don't know about? And she just said, yeah, my oldest left home when he was 17. She goes, somebody in our office said, you know that's Gary Owen's brother. That's his niece. Mm-hmm. So she goes, look, I'm putting in for emergency removal, which means she's not happy with either household. Mm-hmm. I said, what does that mean? She goes, well, she goes into foster care. I said, well, that ain't happening. I said, what we got to do? And she goes, well, I got to do some home visits, but if you want to take temporary custody, you know, that we can do that. And I'm giving you the Cliff's Notes version of the conversation. Okay. So she came to my house and she goes, I feel like this kid hit the lottery with how we were living. Mm-hmm. And then she applied for the emergency removal and the judge denied it because the judge was like, look, she's not in any physical danger. It's just a bunch of broke people, really. Mm-hmm. So, but now my name's on the paperwork. I signed and I can't call my mom and be like, they think you're a bad parent. So now my name's on the paperwork. So when they saw the paperwork about this emergency removal, that's when everything hit the fan. My mom started calling me, what is this? I said, Mom, I couldn't tell you. You know what I mean? So then that got a little tense. And I said, Mom, let us take her. Let us take, because you can't be in your 70s trying to raise a teenager when she gets older. And I knew the home life wasn't the best. I got another brother who was just not a good dude either. He's big. Anyways, so what happened is my mom just kind of cut me off because I wanted to get custody. We were going to go to court. And I told my ex, I was like, we gotta fall back because I started getting some terrible text messages. And I was like, they're literally about to ruin our life. They're going to make our life hell. And I got to look out for my kids. Mm-hmm. And I felt bad for my niece that I couldn't get custody and everything. I said, but they were about to make our life. Right. On both sides, the baby mama and my mom and stepdad and them, because they were looking at it like I'm taking her away from everybody. I'm trying to help her. Right. I know what this child's about to go through with her upbringing. I lived it. So I was like, so at that point, everything was cut off. And then I was just on the outs. So then fast forward, this is all happening in 2016. Mm-hmm. May 20th, 2021, for some reason I was back in Cincinnati. I knew it was the day he passed away, so I went to the cemetery to go see him. I pull up, and my mom's at the cemetery. She's at his headstone.
She's at the gravesite.
And I saw her, and I parked kind of far away, and I remember she had a blanket, and I don't know if she was wiping the headstone off or touching his face, and she kept looking at me. Then she looked back at the headstone, looked at me. I said, oh, this is a guy shot here. I can talk to her. Mm-hmm. So I walked up real slow, and I came up behind her, and she saw me standing there, and all I was going to do was ask, can I sit next to her? I didn't think we were going to solve everything right then. So all I said was hi, and she just started yelling. She goes, I don't want to talk to you, and started screaming a bunch of shit. And I'm just like, I said, Mom.
At the gravesite?
Yeah. It's just me and her. And she started just yelling, and then I said, Mom, I'll leave. I'll come back later. And she goes, no, I'll leave. And then she grabbed her blanket and she goes, and I've been reading everything. She goes, and I hope now you know what it feels like, because the divorce is going on right now. She goes, and I hope now what it feels like when a bunch of people on the internet say a bunch of shit about you that isn't true. And then she was like, this is a really hard day for me. And then she got in her car and sped off. Now I'm sitting here like head spinning, but now I can't spend any time at the cemetery because I'm worried she's going back to tell my stepdad and my other brother Gary's at the gravesite. I thought they was about to come in to pick up guns a-blazing. Right. So I was like, and I mean literally guns a-blazing. So I was like, I had a dip. So that's the last time I talked to her or seen her or anything.
Let me ask you this. How different is dating interracially when you first started doing it?
Do your segue?
You like that?
Hey, that's top tier right there. I'm like this, man. Let me ask you this. Dating black women.
Yeah, because I want to hear, because I don't know if I've ever had a guy, white gentleman like yourself, that's dated black women. So I want to, like, because I understand what it was like in the 80s for a black guy trying to date white women and compared to now. Yeah. Is it different now than it was then?
I don't know. I wasn't dating in the 80s. You know what I mean? Yeah. Not that old. But I don't know.
90s.
That's all I ever liked.
Really?
I've always been like part of the culture. Yeah. You're going to find me at Magic City. You ain't gonna
be a
me
cheater.
I ain't
you ain't gonna be
dollies and cheetahs.
Yeah. What the
I said dollies.
Dollies,
not
okay.
follies.
Okay.
Dollies.
Okay.
Yeah, you gonna find me at G5,
Right.
KOD. You know, you gonna find me at Live on Sunday, not on
Right.
Saturday during
Right.
techno night. I'm going
where you feel
where the black people are.
Did you always feel most comfortable around black people?
Yeah, I think I found, like, quote unquote, found your tribe.
Yeah.
I just always felt comfortable. And, you know, the thing is, like, even when I was in the Navy, you know, my bunkmate, his name was Copera Washington. And he was a black guy from South Carolina. And I remember at that time, there was no internet, so you had to get letters from home.
Right.
So I got this big, swole brother from South Carolina as my bunkmate, got a thick country accent, and he gets pictures, and he's like on a John Deere tractor. He's on a farm, and I'm looking, I go, "Were you on vacation here,
Right.
Copera?" He goes, "Nah." He goes,
Right.
"Man, that's where I live." I go,
Right.
"Black people don't live on farms. Midwest, black people live in the city."
Right.
I didn't know black people baled hay,
Oh, yeah.
lived on farms. I go, "Black people live on farms," and he grabbed a black dude from Mississippi, black dude from Georgia, black dude from Arkansas, black from Alabama. He goes, come here. He goes, "Gary, what'd you just say?" I go, "Black people don't live on farms. They did like to do the right thing." They go, "This dude." Everybody start busting out these pictures in the country. I go, "What the mind blown."
Right.
Mind blown. I was like, oh,
Right.
I am very sheltered as far as this stuff goes. But I can hang out with anybody.
Right.
But I've always been most comfortable. And black people always been the most welcoming to me too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly.
Right.
Like, yeah, my whole life, I don't have issues. The issues I have and it could stem from how my stepdad and my dad was, like, the white men in my life were not the greatest.
Right.
All the black dudes was cool. My football coach was a black dude. Shouts out to Mel Edwards, one of the coolest guys on the planet. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I just always had, all the black dudes I ever met was cool. I never met, like, an asshole.
Right.
Or treated me bad, or so to speak. Even the black guys I went to high school with.
Right.
They was cool. We didn't have a lot. We had a couple.
Right.
They was cool.
Is it difficult when you were in your children's life? Was it difficult raising mixed race kids? Did you ever have a conversation with them about what life was going to be like being in mixed race?
I didn't have like deep conversations. My daughter's like the activist. She's the pro black woman.
Okay.
The boys aren't. Like, my two boys, they're not like that. But yeah, my daughter, she's very pro black. Like, she is like, because man, when the Black Lives Matter movement started and you had the parades and marches,
She was there?
yo, I don't know where she got a blowhorn. The thing, she going, yeah, she's yelling. I go, what the fuck?
Right.
And she started talking about white people this. I go, awkward. I'm your dad. They don't care about us. White devils. I was like this, whoa, white devil. No, I don't know if she said that, I'm making that up. But yeah, like, she's the activist. So my thing with her is like, I'm here to listen.
Right.
I just want to, and that's what's most important. Like, I don't have the answers.
Right.
But I want to listen to your side of things. And I'm always going to have your back in situations like that.
Right.
But we didn't have a lot of, trying to think, we didn't have any big racial issues of them growing up. And granted, it's the environment they grew up in. They grew up in a very safe, I don't want to say sheltered environment, but it was like, they didn't have to struggle. So they weren't put in situations where a cop's gonna pull them over.
Right.
They weren't in those neighborhoods.
Right.
You know, in our neighborhood, everybody we knew the cops in our neighborhood. You know, one cop pulled up. I went to high school with him. He knocked on the door. I remember my son was like, "Dad, there's a cop at the door." Yeah. And I over there, I go, "Mike?" He goes, "Man, they told me you moved in here." He's in the house. Man, we having Pepsis and stuff. I said, "Ain't you got some crime to fight?"
Right.
So,
do you remember the last meaningful conversation you had with your daughter?
Like talking?
Yeah.
Text.
Yeah, no, just a conversation like you and I sitting down now. Like, how was your day at school? You know, how, you know, the dating, whatever the case may be. Do you remember that last conversation?
It was right before she went back to school. So she was a freshman, and God, it's been a long time. She graduated and she was a freshman. Yeah, she was getting ready to go back to Greensboro, and I remember we just sitting in the back talking, just about nothing, life and stuff.
Your son only date white women, correct?
Yeah. Yep. Takes after his mama. Well, I heard she's dating black guys now.
He get it from a mom.
I heard she's dating black dudes now.
Really?
Yeah, she dating. I didn't do my job.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't put it on her so good.
I don't know if this is true, but there's a report that you just recently welcomed twins.
Damn, you know everything. Yeah,
Congratulations.
I did.
Congratulations.
Yep. And one's white, one's black.
Nah,
Crazy.
stop.
Swear to God, one's got blue eyes. Cause you can tell by the nipples and the balls. One's got blue eyes, got these pink balls, these pink nipples. The other one, brown eyes, brown balls, brown nipples. I said, dang, I had twins, and one's black and one's white.
Did you think you was gonna be a father again, or did you want to become a father again?
That's a layer question. Didn't think I wanted to be a father again, but and not have a relationship with my kids. I was like, you know, I hate that thing. Like, I'm gonna do it right this time because I didn't do it wrong.
You don't think you did it wrong the first time?
I don't think I did it wrong the first time. I was very conscious of how I spoke to them, how we disciplined them, how I never put them down. If all the sports and stuff they played, I was always like, I was the fun dad.
Right.
You know, I was like, it's not a big deal if you lose. I was the fun dad. And I was coaching some of their teams and stuff. So I don't say I did it wrong, but it's twofold. I didn't see myself being a dad, but I think not having a relationship with my kids, you know, the twins now, they're just awesome. Right. They're awesome. They're in that idolizing dad stage.
Right.
They're young.
You like that?
They're young. They're like 9-10 months. It just happened. So yeah, and that's the same thing. That's what sucks too, is my kids, they don't know them.
Right.
They don't have a relationship with them. And I don't want to meet them when they're 4 or 5.
Right.
You know? So that sucks too.
Let's talk about what's going on now. This rap beef, this rap dissing. I mean, it seems like everybody's team coming after Drake. You got K-Dot, you know, J. Cole took his shot. You got Ross. Where you at on the rap beef?
Better leave that man alone.
Drake?
Better leave that Drake alone.
The light-skinned dude.
Hey, don't sleep on them mixed boys.
Yeah, y'all doing y'all thing. Y'all
he gonna hit you with the ghetto and the suburb shit. Like, this both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't mess with Drake, bro. I like, you know, I'm not a hip hop head, but obviously I listen to hip hop. But
right.
Yeah, Drake, man, I don't think Meek Mill's ever quite recovered. Remember that? Like 7-8 years ago, back to back?
Drake bodies.
Drake,
Drake Spanos. That's why everybody.
Facts.
That's why everybody teaming up trying to take him down.
And everyone wants to work with him. Yeah, he's the guy right now.
Right. Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace of professional basketball, which makes getting playoff tickets even easier and faster. Prices on Game Time app actually go down closer it gets to tip-off. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying basketball tickets. With Game Time guarantee, you'll always get the best price. And if you find a ticket in the same section, same row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying professional basketball tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code Shay Shay for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code SHAY for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute ticket, lowest prices, guaranteed. Let's talk about your movie career. To get started, did you always want to do movie? Because it seems like it's a natural transition. You go back and obviously you had Cosby, you had Pryor, you had Murphy, you had a lot of guys in comedy do real well transitioning to the movies. Did you always want to be in movies?
Yeah. That was always the goal. I never thought it'd be like TV.
Right.
I thought it'd be movies.
Right.
You do stand up, those are the dreams, like when you start doing stand up, like if I can get movies and stuff like that. So that was always the goal, getting some movies and stuff.
Hold on. You were almost a part of Django? What were you gonna do in Django?
No, I auditioned for Django.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What had you to do what?
One of the henchmen. I never said the N-word so much in my life in an audition. And the casting director was a black lady. So I go in, I'm looking at the sides, and it's inward. I'm like, God! And I'm looking at her, I go, oh, you gotta be kidding me. The casting director was a black lady. I'm like, I apologize afterwards. I go, very sorry about everything I just said. I didn't mean any of it. One of them, I don't know what, I didn't get it, so I don't know what part I auditioned for, but it was one of the dudes that was trying to kill Jamie.
Right. Check this out. Think Like a Man, the franchise. I like you. You were cool. You see how level-headed you are. You was down. Hey,
What?
your role that you played in Think Like a Man.
Bennett.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool. That was a good. That was a.
But that ain't you.
No, that wasn't me. No, that wasn't me. I had to hold back. I was like, I want to, because you want to go back and forth, but it was funny when I got the part. Like, I think I was the first one to like sign on.
Right.
Because I heard Will Packer called, and shouts out to Will, but Will Packer called and he was like, "Yo, I got this movie, man." He goes, "We need a white guy that could hang out with black guys, but not act black, and we want you to bring your own spin to it." And originally, Will was trying to get me to play Jerry Ferrera's part.
Okay.
And then just things happened. The head of screen was like, "Nah, I see Gary Moore as Bennett."
Right.
And it worked out. I thought it all worked out in the end, because now that's the one movie, like, us guys are still cool. Like, if you call them, they're there. If you need something, need to make a social media post, or I'm having an event. I never, and Michael Ealy said, he goes, acting in movies like summer camp. You have fun while you're there, but then when it's over, you probably never see these people again.
Right.
And obviously people go their separate ways, but the six of us, man, that was like some brother type. Because you gotta realize, 2011 we filmed the first one.
Right.
2012 it comes out, so we're doing press together. 2013 we're filming the sequel. 2014 we're doing press, hanging out again. That's 4 straight years we hanging. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So yeah, those guys, I love all those guys, man. They're great.
The book. Did Steve give too much information away?
I didn't really read it. I was like this. Mm-hmm.
Oh, you pretending like you don't know?
They asked me, did I read it? I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, it was informative. I was lying. I didn't read that book. I just go to the pictures.
You mentioned the guys that you work with, Kevin Hart, obviously. What's K Hart like? Because people like, they vouch for him, that he gives them opportunities. He's always trying to put people in position to succeed. What's your relationship with K Hart?
I met Kev in '98 in New York when he was Lil Kev. And, Kev's cool, man. It's like when you just get him like we're doing right now, he's the same dude. It's just when we leave here, it gets weird. Right. Because the public starts going nuts. Right. I remember the first time I saw posts going nuts, I go, what are they tripping on? It's just Kev, Mm-hmm. But Kev, like, I've noticed on your show too, I've seen there's been a theme. Yeah. Like, Monique was down, Kev looked out. Amanda was down, Kev looked out. I had dinner last night with a gentleman. He was like, yo, Kev took care of me, not took care of me, but gave me a job when nobody else would give me a job. Right. And I was like, that's 3 people. Mm-hmm. When my divorce happened, Kev reached out and he goes, you need, if you need any legal advice, need help financially, because I know this stuff can get expensive. He goes, call me. And I'm like, I'm a grown man. I ain't gonna go to some other grown man for help. I'll work it out. But then, and then we shipped me with the $44,000. I did call him back. Yeah, call him back. Hey, Kev. You got a Jumanji. Feel good. You got a Jumanji residual check hanging around or something. Nah. But he called for help. And Kev's just solid, man. So that when people, the hate come towards him, I think it's just because he's like, quote unquote, top of the food chain. Right. You know what I mean? But it's funny too, because like when you had Katt on, I was like, Katt's very generous too to people. Katt did one of the coolest things anybody ever did for me in my career. Just in the moment, we were in Austin, Texas together, and I've told this story on other platforms and stuff, but it was right when he popped, like 2006 around then, right? And I just remember we had a show like 6 months prior at a college, and we was like in a ballroom, and like 100 kids showed up. Mm-hmm. I get a contract. We're at the Frank Irwin Center in Austin, Texas, and that's the basketball arena. Right. And I was like, why they have me and Katt at the basketball arena? I think we're more of a theater thing, right? Man, I showed up. There were so many goddamn people, and I go, oh, because I remember saw Katt go, when this happened? Right. It's only been 6 months, and then the show's over. Right. We go back. The promoter got us 2 different limos, and my limo's in front of Katt's, and Katt's limo's behind me. I get back to the hotel for Katt, and I'm trying to go out for a little bit. So I'm trying to tell the limo driver, I was like, hey, look, I need a limo for a couple more hours. Can I get it? He goes, yeah, it's $300. Try to give him cash. He wouldn't take it. He goes, I need a credit card. I said, it's cash, just take it. He goes, company policy, man. Now keep in mind, I'm married. I don't want this charge on the credit card. Yeah. So I'm like, I can't put this on my credit card. And then I got to answer for going out. Mm-hmm. So Katt pulls up. As I'm having this discussion with my driver, Katt pulls up and just walks up and he goes, hey, what's going on, Gary? I was like, nothing. I said, the driver wants $300. He won't take cash. I go, he wants a credit card. And I'm telling Katt, I don't want this thing on my credit card. My wife will see it. I got to discuss this stuff, right? Katt goes, hold on. Takes my driver around the back of his limo, right? I don't know what they talked about, I don't know how much money Kev gave that dude, but this was the whole conversation we came back. He goes, he's yours for the evening, Gary. Enjoy your night. Oh, yes, they do accept cash. And walked away. I don't know how much Cat gave that driver. When I say he pulled in the club, I got out. I was on the dance floor. that driver, I was like, yo. Then he takes me back. I get up the next morning. He's still standing there. Wait, Mom. I said, how much money did Cat give this dude? He goes, yeah, Mr. Williams said take you to the airport. I was like, wow. To this day, I don't know how much money Cat gave that dude.
I'm looking at the cast. Gabrielle Union, Chris Brown was also in the cast. Megan Good, Taraji. Man, you had an outstanding cast. What was it like working with all those personalities and then everybody blowing up?
Jared Ferrer said it best. When we went to the table read and everybody was there before we knew what it was, Kev had all the funny shit, right? And Jerry said it best. He goes, it was set up for Kevin to hit a home run. We just didn't know how far he was going to hit it.
Right.
That still going. That ball's still going. That was some Bugs Bunny type shit. But everybody was very inclusive. Like, it's like, yo, I think this would be funny. Try it. Do it. There was no egos. There wasn't like somebody was stealing their shine, everything. It was the most I mean, you just look forward to going to work.
Right.
Everybody was cool. And then, of course, your boy's like, hey, man, what's Gab like? What she look like up close? What Megan like up close? It's weird when you work with them, you don't look at them like that. At them like that. I be looking at them like, why is everybody tripping? Like, I mean, she cool, but you looking at them like a cousin. Right. You know what I mean? To this day, I feel like, why are people like tripping over Megan?
Right.
That's just Megan.
Right.
Everybody was cool. Especially us guys, man, because we know it was very separate. We didn't see the girls a lot. So, especially on the second one. But we'd see them every now and then, but it was more the 6 guys working together all the time. Like, man, this was just solid.
You were in Love Chronicles with Terrence Howard.
Holy cow, where'd you pull that one out of?
Yeah, and he's suing CAA. I mean, obviously you've been in this business a long time and you know how agencies work. I'm trying to figure out, I mean, he's suing them over his Empire salary. Because I guess he's saying that he was only paid X amount of dollars. I mean, but it's kind of hard. What did you sign the contract for?
Yeah, that's tough.
You know, T. Cruz said, you can't nod yes and mean no.
I saw that episode too. Yep.
T. Cruz was good.
He was good. Very motivational.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. So have you had any bad experiences with management agencies? Or you do your...
Yeah. I mean, they're always sticking and moving. You always feel like you should be working more.
Yeah.
You always feel like you should have more. But as far as like suing an agency or a studio for like wages, nah, because that's like, you know, you negotiate and it's like you want or not. Now, in the middle of my divorce, I got sued by some dude. I think I want to really shout him out because I want to make sure I hate opportunists. His name was Mike Carlini. Is that right? What is it? Okay. Joe Carlini. yeah. I'll make sure I get that name right. This piece of shit, Joe Carlini, this dude, and I've never met this dude in my life. I don't know who he is, and I really hope he sees this. He said that I stole the movie idea, What Men Want, the movie that Taraji was in, that Will Packer produced, that Paramount was behind. He gave the idea to me, I gave it to Will, and then they made the movie, and he didn't get anything from it. And I go, keep in mind, I wasn't in that movie. I auditioned for that movie and didn't get the part.
Right.
And I go, I got nothing to do with that movie. You figure if I had the idea, I'm not a producer on it, I got nothing to do with it. We come to find out, back in 2015, somehow he got my email. He emailed me something, and we had to get like a person to go through all your emails and check it. It showed that I opened the email, but I didn't send it to anybody. I don't even remember opening it. That's how he sued me, and I had to fight this. Cost me $110,000 for nothing.
It didn't. They couldn't find it.
Okay, thanks, Lisa.
There was no evidence of it.
You know what? I don't know. I don't know a goddamn thing. You know what? I don't know his name. I probably got the wrong movie. This is what you go through in a divorce. You forget.
Right. or at least try to.
Yeah. Now this dude, Joe Carlini,
right.
They went through my email and I guess they found out they couldn't find the email. But just the fact that I had to paid these lawyers to fight this because he kept like appealing it.
Right.
And I'm the one that was out. Like, I'm sure Paramount fought it with their lawyers. And I don't.
They got a lot more money to fight with.
A lot more money. But I'm the one like, now we got to go to Paramount and beg, like, hey, can you guys give me a couple dollars? Because that's the crazy part about this business.
Right.
In fact, you can just get accused of something. And you're like, you got to fight it in court.
Yeah.
And I'm going, this was all in the middle of divorce. So I'm getting divorce attorney bills. I'm getting my attorneys fighting this frivolous lawsuit of a movie. The thing about it, if I was in the movie, maybe you could have said something. I wasn't even in it.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had nothing to do with it. And that movie's a remake. It was a Mel Gibson movie.
Right. Meet the Blacks. Mike Epps, Lil Duval, Michael Blackson, Snoop Dogg, Charlie Murphy, Mike Tyson, Paul Mooney. What's it like being on a set with a lot of comedians?
That's the best. that's the dream set right there. That was it. That set was so much fun. We were in shouts out to Deion Taylor, but we were outside of Sacramento on some farm. I'm talking like an hour and a half outside of Sacramento. And we were staying at a Best Western Inn because that was the only hotel near it. And it wasn't a great hotel either. But just, I think it was my first time really working with Epps like that and Duval.
Right.
And comedians the best because they just, especially Deion, to direct comedians like that, it's just like, just let them go. We'll get one off the script, but let us go. And then usually we'll come up with something funnier than what's on the script.
What's been written.
Yeah. And he just let us. At one point, I remember Deion, I was just rambling. Deion goes, hey, we just need one that's on the page. I didn't realize we're on like take 6. I'm going, oh, do I do this? I'm going to do this.
Right. Obviously, you mentioned earlier Katt. Katt was on here, and I guess we still trying to recover.
Recover? What are you talking about? I'm looking at your watch, looking at your teeth, your glasses, your haircut.
Yeah, thank you, Katt.
Everybody got a raise. I think your barber got a raise.
Well, that's what Katt told me. Katt said, when you win an award, you win awards, I get a prize.
What'd you get him?
Huh?
What'd you get him?
Nah,
What'd you get
I'm gonna let him tell you. Tell you. No, I haven't gotten him anything. He doesn't want anything. When you hear
Really?
did you know that this was like kind of behind the scenes, that comedians, I had no idea. People telling me they mad at me for what Katt said on my platform. I'm like, guys, do you think I know what goes on in the comedic world?
Yeah.
I didn't know that there were beefs like, did you know?
There's always beefs. There's always beefs.
Did you know it was like to this extent?
Here's the thing. Katt is so damn smart and his delivery is so good. It's very engaging.
You know how to tell a story, doesn't he?
Man, he's a great storyteller. Yeah, he's a great narrator.
Yeah.
But yeah, we all know those beefs. That's green room talk.
Right.
You know, he just aired it publicly. And you know, because we all know who ain't funny. We all know who's a hack.
Right.
Where there's rumors, people steal jokes.
Right.
I don't ever go the route like somebody just stole a joke because I'm always like, we think alike, man.
Right.
We think alike a lot.
Right.
You know, and then sometimes you don't even realize it. Like, I've seen people like start to act like people, their mannerisms, their delivery and stuff like that. So, I mean, sometimes people do steal. I ain't gonna say it doesn't happen, but I'm not just gonna out and out accuse you.
But, okay, so that's so. Because the thing was that I had said on, and I asked him, I said, Katt once accused you of stealing a joke. And he said, well, the timeline doesn't add up. Well, I didn't even have to bring it up because when Katt came on, Katt brought it up. And he said, how the timeline doesn't add up. He said, the only difference is that you took my car and turned it into a spaceship.
Yeah.
So I think he was upset, and he says, well, I gave you a grace. I gave you a pass. You said you were sorry, blah, blah, blah. And then to come out here and say that didn't happen. But you're saying that if somebody stole your joke, you ain't gonna front him. You ain't gonna put it out there on Front Street. I'm
a little more passive aggressive unless it's my dad or stepdad. I'm a little more passive. I don't. There's some instances where they just took it, and you know. The only time I know somebody took my shit was there was a show on Showtime called Chocolate Sundays, and they did this whole bit of how a white guy can get away with saying the N-word, and what he does, he'd be like, Shannon, you my, and there'll be a black guy right next to him, and he'll say the N-word for him, right?
Yes.
I saw that sketch and I go, wait a minute, that's my joke. I closed with that on my special in 2011 called True Story. How that joke came about was I was at the Improv on a Monday night. D. Ray Davis was there. He's got it on his little handheld camera. He sent it to me. I'm talking like 2007 this happened when the joke came about. I got a heckler. We were going back and forth. I said, well, why don't you come on stage? Because the heckler was like, well, you got the mic. You always going to win. I said like this. I said, man, if I was black, I would call you the N-word right now, but I'm not allowed. And then the crowd's laughing, right? And the crowd, say it. I said, I ain't going to say it. And I was like, D-Ray, can you say it for me? D-Ray comes on stage. I start going in the dude, and D-Ray starts saying the word for me.
Right.
That's where the joke came about.
Right.
So now I'm watching this show, Chocolate Sundays, and I'm seeing they got these 2 black dudes and a white dude, and they're basically turned my joke into a sketch.
Right.
And I called the EP, and I was like, I was like, Poogie works with Kevin. I said, Poogie, I go, what a name, right? Poogie? I said, Poogie, who wrote the joke? So I can know where to direct your anger at. He said, yeah, I don't know, G, we got a think tank and comedians just get in a room and we start throwing ideas around. I said, well, find out who came up with that premise. I said, that's my bid. It's on Showtime. It's on right now.
Right.
And nobody could give me an answer. So somebody got in that think tank and was like, hey, you know what a good idea is?
Right.
But we got everything on video.
Right. How often do you watch other comedians? You don't watch anybody currently. You don't like, man, that dude, he nice with it.
You watch like clips, but I don't want to watch comedians for the reason Katt said. I don't want to ever think my jokes ain't mine. I don't want to watch somebody like, that was a good bit, or I should have thought of that. It's 2 things. Like I get frustrated. One, I'll get frustrated because why do they have a special and I don't? Because all comedians think we deserve the special, right? And then I don't want to ever think that I don't want to psych myself out. I've seen comics do that.
Right.
They'll stop doing a bit because somebody's doing a bit on the same topic better than they are.
Right.
So I was like, I'll obviously watch clips now with TikTok and Instagram. You might catch something. To sit down and watch an hour, I was like, I just can't. I got an ADHD, self-diagnosed. And I just can't. Like I said, I do it so much. The last thing I do is go to a comedy club or another comedy show and I'm not on it. So I just don't.
The Wayans, where are they? Because I don't think they get nearly enough credit. Because what they did with Living Color,
man, that still holds up.
That's
to this day.
I mean, and look who was birthed out of that.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey and Jamie Foxx and David Allen Greer and Tommy Davis and obviously the Wayans brothers. I mean, why don't they? Will we ever see another In Living Color again? Could that happen today?
Leave it alone. You just leave it alone. That's greatness. Don't touch it. Stay as far away as possible.
But anytime you have success doing something, somebody want to reboot it. Man, we see the animation of Good Time. You saw that?
Yeah. They're doing right. I'm like, oh my God. No, leave it alone.
Right.
Let it ride. Let it ride.
So what is your relationship? Do you have any comedians that because, Katt, like, he has his group that he stays away from. Obviously, Monique has hers, who she stays away from. And are there anybody that you like, you don't have to say no name, but do you like, I'm better in my little box and I'm going to let you play in your little box?
No, I'm cool with everybody.
No, you're not.
I'm not. Monique probably would say different.
I thought Monique was really engaging. I like Monique.
Here's the thing about Monique, though. Like, you're allowed to be made fun of.
Right.
We're comedians.
Right.
Somebody's going to see this interview, they're going to make fun of me. And so it's like, I snapped a little bit years ago because not over the Tyler Perry or the Oprah stuff, because she basically compared Will Packer, who's a friend and a guy that employed me and a guy that helped take my career to another level.
Right.
She compared him to Harvey Weinstein.
Huh?
Yeah, she goes, just like these girls got to be quiet and stuff like this. It was like his name was in the same sentence as Harvey Weinstein. Yeah. And I go, and nobody said anything. I go, I'm going to stand up for my boy real quick. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I literally was in the carpool line to pick up my daughter at school, and I was kind of just sitting there, so I just did a video.
Right.
I didn't think it was that big of a deal. But think about it. I never called out her name. I never said she was wrong about other stuff. I was just like, in that instance, when she
just that situation,
when she said Will Packer, Harvey Weinstein, I was like, that's not cool. You know what I mean? Because honestly, he gave her a part in a movie when people really wasn't messing with her, and he, whatever happened after that, I don't know. I don't know about that fire on the set that nobody got hurt.
Right.
I don't know about that. But when I did on my podcast, I talked about her, like her and her husband will do their little Instagram lives. And I go, man, they're really good at saying they love you and then cutting your throat the next thing. They go, yeah, we love you, man, but we do know you got an abortion in Texas and that's illegal. So the cops are on their way, but we love you, brother. So when they get there, you're going to have to get bail money. And I don't know how you're going to get that because we got your bank accounts frozen, but we love you. Clearly, I'm making fun of them,
right.
but but that's what we do.
Right.
So, I heard them go on their podcast afterwards after I said something like that, and they was like snapping. I remember her husband was like, and our brother Gary Owen, you're invited. You're a guest in the black community. And I'm thinking, I got more black kids than you. So, I just got 2 more.
Right.
I got a squad now.
Right.
So, and then they go, he said, and you brought up, we say people got abortions, and Monique took off her glasses. What? I go, it was a joke. Right. I was making fun of you, which we're allowed to do. We can't take everything so serious and literal. I ain't got nothing against it.
Right.
I have nothing against it. But you are allowed to make fun, just like Amanda Seals comes on here, self-diagnosed herself with autism. So of course I'm gonna bring it up. That's what we do. No. I didn't call her out her name.
Right.
Nothing. I didn't say she was wrong.
But I'm gonna get it. Yeah. Because I ain't protecting my black queen. You said what you said, and because I didn't push back.
Yeah.
Now you done lump me into some stuff. Yeah. I ain't got nothing to do with
That's
this.
all I wanted out of this interview. That's the only thing I wanted was for you to get to step down from the black women. That was my goal. You didn't have to defend your queen.
Yeah, exactly.
Brother.
That's coming. Katt spoke very highly of you as one of these guys that haven't sold out to the industry.
Right.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think you said there was a situation because Katt said there's sometimes that, men do things behind the scenes that don't have anything to do with their acting. And they get right. Yeah. You mentioned that somebody you kind of like, I'm not sure, I don't want to go.
I knew the guy was hitting on me. Here's the thing. There was no lines crossed. Nobody was touched.
Right.
I wasn't promised a job. I still got the job.
Right.
But the dude hit on me. Right. You know when somebody's hitting on you, right? But it wasn't like a Terry Crews situation.
Right.
Nobody touched me. Nobody said, you got to do this or you won't get the job.
Right.
Dude clearly inquired, am I interested? And I was like, so there's no reason for me to throw this dude under the bus.
Right.
You are allowed to hit on people.
Right.
Right?
No, not anymore.
I'm mad at myself.
No,
because what kind of vibe was I giving? That he thought it was okay to think it was okay, right? So I was like, that's why I say, people's like, you gotta say you're part of the problem. This guy's a predator. I go, this dude is not a predator. It was a guy that hit on me, and it's not my place to out him. Right. You know what I mean? So I'm never gonna say who it was. It wasn't Jackie Chan.
Right.
Okay? That's all I'm giving you. Right. It wasn't, or Chris Tucker. So that's all you get.
What are your thoughts on actors in dresses? Would you wear a dress for a movie role?
The check was right. Do it all. Bra, panties. I'm kidding. I shave my legs. Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, if it's funny.
But Gary, here's the thing, and I think you know this. White men, Dustin Hoffman did it. Robin Williams did it. Miss Doubtfire, Tootsie, is looked at differently when a black man puts that dress on. Mm-hmm. Now, nobody said anything because Flip Wilson was the first guy that I remember doing it when he was Geraldine. He had his show on television. But since then, you remember that?
Mm-hmm. I don't remember it, but I know he dressed as a woman.
Yes.
Yeah.
But since, and the guy that catches the most criticism, obviously, is Tyler Perry because the Medea role that he plays. What
you think Tyler Perry regrets putting on that dress? I don't.
Hell no.
Yeah, right? That's what I'm saying.
$1 billion?
He put the titties on?
Yeah.
The belly? Yeah. I think at one point he had a camel toe.
Yeah.
I see he going too far now. Is that camel toe Tyler? Is that camel toe Tyler?
Do you want to be in more movies, or are you good with where you're doing stand-up? Because it seems like you're every week. So how many days a week? How many days a year do you actually?
I could work every weekend if I wanted to, because you're looking at the tours, the theater dates, the comedy club dates. Every now you get a corporate gig. But I mean, I could work every weekend if I wanted to. And I work a lot. Now that I'm in a better spot financially and everything, so I don't have to work every weekend. So I am, for the first time probably in my career, taking some weekends off just to enjoy everything. So
enjoy some of the money that you make.
Yeah. But the road life isn't bad. We're still staying in nice hotels.
Right.
We go to work for a couple hours. The hardest part about our job is the travel.
Right.
Once you get to a certain level. So yeah, the goal is to be in more movies. You know what I mean? And I'm not really tripping off TV anymore. Like this to me is, for my audience where I'm at, is way bigger than the Tonight Show. Way bigger than any late night talk show or daytime talk show.
Right.
So when you guys called and said you want to do it, I was like, how much? And you guys was like, we don't pay. I was like, well, I want bottled water. So I appreciate it.
No, we appreciate you.
Yeah.
Real Husbands of Hollywood.
I only did one episode.
Why?
Because my ex wasn't famous. Because I asked them, I said, I asked Chris Spencer, I said, how come you guys never asked me to do that when it came out? And I wasn't like asking like, how could you not use me? I literally was asking like, did my name come up? He goes, yeah, but it was Real Husbands of Hollywood, and everybody's wife, outside of Kevin obviously, but they was like, their wife was in the business or was somewhat famous. They goes, yours wasn't. And I go, oh, yeah, that makes sense. You know what I mean? But I did an episode, it was fun.
Fun?
Yeah, it was fun.
You see, it seems to me like would you like to be in movies in which other comedians, because it seems like you have the best time when you like people like, y'all bouncing ideas, y'all just having a good time.
Yeah.
Like you said that, what was it called?
Meet the Blacks?
Meet the Blacks.
Yeah.
You really, not to say that you didn't love Think Like a Man, because obviously that was an all-star cast.
Yeah.
But what's your ideal movie situation?
Oh, man.
What's the role? What's the
I know it. Remake The Jerk. That'd be the dream role for me. The Steve Martin movie?
Yes.
He's raised by a black family.
Yeah.
Got on his own. You could rework it and remake it to update it. That, to me, from my audience and how I live my life,
right.
I'm just thinking like the ad-libs and what I could bring to that character would be the dream role. And second would be the only white guy in Wakanda. Like literally like, oh my God. Like it's too,
the FBI agent was there. They took the FBI. Remember, I'm
talking about been there. Like there's a bunch of light-skinned Wakandians. Where'd he come from? And here I come out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the white tiger.
Why don't you pitch the idea?
What, the white guy Wakanda?
No, the Jerk, the remake.
Yeah, we just did it. We just did it. You didn't even realize we did it, did you?
No.
Watch. This better be a clip.
Really?
Yeah. That better be one of your clips.
Nah, hell nah. You ain't doing it.
Come on, Shannon.
You bullshit.
What? A white guy just got drafted as a cornerback in the NFL. Times are changing.
But it was every 20 years, because Jason Sehorn was before that. Remember him with the Giants?
Yeah, 94. Towards ACL in the preseason game, returning kickoff.
Yeah.
I know football.
Yeah, and then it was Scott Case before him.
Yeah, I remember Scott for the Falcons.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember Scott Case.
Y'all got 3 of the last 35.
That's what, okay. Well, how many, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
How many kickers you got? Yeah, you got no extra points. If it's just all black guys, it's 6-6. It's 12-12.
The Illuminati. I've heard a lot of people talk about the Illuminati. What is the Illuminati?
I don't know.
Does it exist?
I don't know.
You in Hollywood?
Yeah, I don't know. I ain't seen it.
You ain't ever gone to no secret meeting?
Nope.
I
haven't.
Something ain't lining up.
What ain't lining up?
Something ain't lining up.
If I get the jerk, there's an Illuminati. I don't know.
What about all these Hollywood parties that people be talking about? Oh, you in Hollywood, you know about these parties. I was like, ain't nobody invited me nowhere.
No, I mean, I've been to, when I first got to LA, I saw I would do some wild stuff I would take to the grave.
Right.
Like parties and stuff. But
you was there. Active participant.
I was active participant. I saw shit.
Oh.
I'm not talking about gay shit either.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like heterosexual shit.
Yeah, but I'm saying.
Wow shit though. I was like, yeah.
You wasn't no participant? Well, it wasn't no fun. What you watch, yo?
I'm not saying I didn't take a girl back to my place.
That's what I said. You a participant.
But I didn't do it in front of people. At the party.
You chicken.
Huh?
You chicken. You ain't living.
Anybody trying to see this glow in the dark going up and down? Like this is the full moon, baby.
Okay, let me ask, what are gatekeepers? Are there such a thing?
Yeah, definitely is, but I think we're getting away from it. I think now you can take control of your own career. You don't need the machine to get behind you.
Right.
Between YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, we're in a great age.
Right.
I think the gatekeepers are kind of leaving. But there was for a long time.
Really?
I was talking to my manager, and she was telling me, like, when she started, she was working for a big time producer. Mm-hmm. And she goes, I used to have to deliver scripts to his house. Mm-hmm. And she goes, and he would have to read all of them. Then he makes a decision. Which ones are we going to do? To me, that's a gatekeeper.
Okay.
I'm like, now, I saw your Country Wayne on here.
Yes.
He did his own movie independently. Mm-hmm. And you don't know when lightning is going to strike on the movie. Let me tell you, there's going to be a movie. There's going to be a movie on Tubi. There's going to be a movie on YouTube. All that shit where everybody's going to just start flocking to it. It's going to happen eventually.
Right.
But it's like, damn, they did that shit for $30,000? Something. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They ain't going to be The Jerk.
Right.
That's big budget. Let's combine The Jerk with Black Panther 3. Hell yeah, we just did that.
No, okay.
Come on.
Did you go out with Wendy Williams?
Okay. Jesus, your crack team is unbelievable, bro. Next thing you go, are you circumcised? You're circumcised.
let me go through the card right quick. Let me see.
No. Wendy, here's what happened. Right when the divorce happened, I went on her talk show. Mm-hmm. And she asked me out on a date on the talk show. So afterwards, she called me off the air. And she goes, Gary, we're just going, she goes, I know it came off like that on the TV show. And she was very candid, like, I am interested. But she was like, look, it's just dinner. It's public. There'll be other people there. Why wouldn't I meet her for dinner in a public place? Because however you feel about Wendy, she's a mogul and she rolled the dice on herself. She had making, I think, 7 figures on a radio show.
Right.
Said, nah, I'm going to bet on myself and got her talk show. To me, I'm like, why wouldn't I sit down and have dinner with somebody just to talk?
Right.
And that's all we did.
Right.
I Ubered to the restaurant. I got there. We talked. I Ubered back to my hotel. You know, that was it.
What time did you get back to the hotel?
As soon as dinner was over. I didn't sleep with her.
What time did she leave?
I don't know. 11:30? Just kidding. No, we did not mess around though. Yeah. She got a tattoo right here though. I'm just kidding.
I know. Yeah.
I was like this. Why you got Mickey Mouse on your only butt cheek? No, I'm just kidding.
Obviously, the movie Think Like a Man was written by Steve Harvey. I read that you didn't have the greatest relationship with Steve.
See, that's the headlines talking. I've always been cool with Steve. What happened with that whole situation, when he moved his talk show from Chicago to LA, I went on his show as a guest.
Okay.
He pulled me aside and was like, he's telling me like, I'm about to move this show to LA. We're going to make it a nighttime feel, but a daytime talk show. But I want to bring you on as like a co-host. So I'm thinking like Johnny Carson, Ed McMahon type. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do that. Of course. So I'm excited. I go back on the show again for when it was still in Chicago, like a couple months later. He goes, hey, they call you yet about the deal? I said, no, nobody's called me. He goes, really? Next day I got a phone call from a producer. Steve told me to call you. And it was very apparent. That's why I said this isn't on Steve. That producer I don't think he knew who I was. Mm-hmm. I think he was looking at it like, this is a favor. Like, I don't have anything going on in my life.
Right.
I could tell by the tone of the conversation. Steve told me to call you. And it was very dry.
Right.
I fly to LA, meet with the dude for lunch. And then I could tell, I was like, yeah, I got all these ideas, right? He just kept shooting them down. He goes, yeah, we got somebody for that. We're not worried about that. Yeah. I was like, man.
What the hell you got that?
So I take the job, right?
Okay.
We don't negotiate my contract. So I came in on on a temporary basis. And I said, I'll do the first 2 weeks, show you what I can do. And if you like me, then we'll get a deal struck.
Right.
If you don't, no love lost.
Right.
So my first day, I'm in this beautiful dressing room. And I was like, darn, they're taking care of me. And I'm getting SAG minimum. I'm just getting minimum wage for this, but I know what the bigger picture is.
Right.
So I'm like, darn, it's nice, right? I'm there about 30 minutes. They go, yeah, Gary, you gotta leave. I was like, what? Well, Chelsea Handler was the first guest. He was shooting on her old stage.
Right.
So that used to be her dressing room. So I was in her old dressing room. So of course she's coming. They're gonna put her back in her old dressing room.
Right.
So I thought, that's fine, just this episode. I'm walking around. This dude put me in like a broke down closet with no mirror, no bathroom. And I'm going, and I'm standing outside, and he's like, yeah, this is where you're going to stay. And they basically said, this is where you're going to be for the rest of the week. And I was like, oh. And he started walking towards the bathroom. He goes, yeah, and the bathroom's down here. He goes, Gary, what are you doing? I was like, I'm never going to go use a public bathroom. The only two people here every day is me and Steve.
Right.
I said, find me a dressing room. And he was just like, they wasn't trying to help.
Right.
So I'm sitting here like, oh my God. I was like, they're trying to put me in a closet. And I'm standing on my ground.
They tried to make you quit.
Well, black women to the rescue, the people you don't defend. This is a white dude. This is a white dude walking me around. One of them black women stepped up. She knew who I was.
Right.
She said, nah, Gary, come back here. She got me in a little, it wasn't big, little dressing room, had my own bathroom, had a couch, tiny TV. I don't need much. So I was like, all right, I'm good. I do the show for 2 weeks, but we're recording on Monday and Friday. I think it was 3 or 4 days a week. So I can't go on the road. So I'm losing stand-up money.
Right.
But I know the bigger picture.
Right.
They never have me on stage with them. I'm always behind the stage. They built like this telephone-looking booth thing.
Right.
So you heard my voice, ladies and gentlemen, Steve Harvey, today's guest, and stuff like that. Right. But you never see me. So if we did 10 episodes, you probably saw me two of the episodes where I actually did a sketch or something. So I was just like, I literally would come out, say, give it up for Steve Harvey, and then he walk on stage, and I go back to my dressing room. Next episode, give it up for Steve Harvey, walk back. So after 2 weeks, I was like, yo, my agency and my manager were like, yo, we're ready to negotiate. And they go, yeah, we want it for 2 more weeks. I go, I can't do another 2 weeks. You've known about this for 6 months. Right. I can't give up 2 more. And then you don't hire me or don't give me the money I want. So I just politely said no.
Right.
Where people went at Steve was when I told the dressing room story.
Right.
Now, I'm in a weird spot. Mm-hmm. I'm cool with Steve. I'm not going to go to him where he's got all this pressure of his own TV show and be like, I ain't happy with the dressing room. So I don't know what to do. And I don't want, the only time I'm really seeing him is right before he goes on stage where I'm announcing his name.
Right.
So I can't be like, hey, what's up, man? I know you got Jay Leno going on, but real quick, my dressing room, I can't do that. Right. So yeah, it's not, I don't know if it's on Steve or not on Steve. You can take it any way you want it, but it's not an attack on him.
Right.
It was just, they tried to put me in the shit dressing room and then and then in the middle of it, one of the days off, I did hip hop squares.
Right.
And I made like 3 times the money on hip hop squares than I did on Steve. And I go, wait a minute, I'm working for a week and I'm making more doing hip hop squares for 1 day. I was like, this ain't working out. Yeah. So I don't want to say it's on Steve, you know? I would say it's on Lori.
Right.
It was her fault.
Oh my goodness.
Again, you're not going to defend her? You're not going to defend her? You're not going to defend Lori Harvey? Another black woman you don't defend.
What's in the water in Ohio? Katt Williams, Steve Harvey, Arsenio Hall, Chappelle now lives there. What is it about Ohio?
The women, their head game's crazy. So, top, if you do states, like they're definitely top 5. The women in Ohio. That's what it is. And it brings the creative juices.
That's what it is.
I don't know, man. Like, and Dave, like, I've heard like Dave is DC and Ohio.
Yeah.
I think he grew up in both. I don't know the whole story.
Yeah. But he mainly associated because DC, they got him too. DC, Wanda Sykes, Earthquake, Chappelle.
You ever notice Wanda Sykes, like, she's lesbian now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I watched one of her specials back in the day, and she
That's
was
my girl, be careful.
No. It's a joke. You're allowed to talk about people. And she said, she was talking about, it was a clip I saw, and she's talking about good. And I was like, she had a writer. She didn't write that joke.
You don't think so? There you go. She might early on.
She experimented. Like me with the white girl in 96. You're right. I take it back.
You only been with one white girl your whole life.
Yeah. Look at you. Trying to switch this up.
I'm not.
You don't defend black women, so you're going to try to turn them on me. Oh my God. I got a hand job, okay? I got a hand job from one.
No. We already know that story. Do you remember what it was like when you went on stage for the very first time?
Yeah. Comedy Store, La Jolla, California. I was 20 years old. I go up, and I'm thinking I'm about to be discovered. I've never been on stage. This is what I thought. I'm in the Navy, and I didn't know you could start stand-up whatever city you live in. Right. I thought you had to start in L.A.
Right.
And I thought the whole state of California was L.A. because I'm looking at David Lee Roth, Wish Y'all Could Be California Girls. I didn't know there was a Fresno, a Bakersfield, a Eureka.
Right.
You know, I thought the whole state was L.A. So first 2 years I'm in the Navy, I'm stationed in Washington, D.C. And I used to go, if I heard a concert was in town or I would find out where Comedy Nights was, I was only 17, 18 years old. I would sit outside and listen. I would just listen. And then I could hear comedians, right? Or the big shows would come and I'd stand outside the theater and just listen. I didn't have any money to really go and I wasn't old enough to get in. But I thought I just gotta get to LA. I gotta get to LA. So first thing I get stationed in California, I take it. So I come out here, first day I'm in the phone book. I'm like looking up comedy clubs. I call this place called the Comic Castle. Called the dude up. I say, you got open mic? He goes, who's that? I go, no, you got open mic. He goes, let me check. And he put me on hold. I go, fucking, who is that? Let me check. I called a comic book store. I thought I called a comedy club. He's looking for a superhero named Open Mic, right? Pause. So I'm like, I was like, what are you talking about? You can't find him. He goes, man, what are you looking for? I go, is this a comedy club? He goes, nah, it's a comic book store. I go, now we're having a full conversation. I go, oh man, I just moved here. I'm a comedian. I'm trying to find a comedy club. And then he goes, oh, so now he gets on the phone book on his end. He gives me the number to the comedy store. This mythical voice from the Comic Castle. And so now I call the comedy store. Call up open mic Sunday night. I call up there. I get on. The first Sunday I called, I got on. They said, yeah, you're on the shows at like 10 o'clock at night, open mic. I go there. I got dressed. I'm thinking I'm brushing my teeth extra hard. I'm like, I'm about to be delirious.
Right.
It's about to be Eddie Murphy, you know? I get here, I was like, oh! It's like 10 people in the audience. Nobody's really paying attention. But there's like 20 comics in the back, all open micers. I'm like one of the last guys up. And I just remember I'm on stage. I'm nervous. I don't have material to be moving, sticking and moving. I got these 5 minutes that I've been working on my whole life. The comics, and this is what comics do, we don't laugh, we go, ha! That's all we do. Yeah. They're cutting me off. I'm trying to get a punch out there, ha! I'm freaking out, right? So in the middle of it, I'm 20 years old, I got a beer in this hand, and I said, hey, all you comics in the back. I go, keep heckling. I'm only 20 years old. I said, why don't I call the cops and shut this motherfucker down? When I say the lights went off, the mic went off, it's like somebody grabbed me from the back of my shirt and they rolled me to the front of the comedy store, threw me out, and I did like a front roll, and I stand up and I start dusting myself, and the one guy was like, don't ever come back! And I was like, well, can't come back here, but I can talk shit.
Right.
So it took a little while for me to get the nerve to go back up because it did kind of scar me, but then that was my first time on stage.
Right. Did you always, were you a class clown? Were you disruptive? Did you always know you wanted to be a comic?
Yeah. I was class clown, most obnoxious, prom king. I was popular too. Yeah. But my school, I don't have that story where nobody believed in me. Mm-hmm. Nobody believed in me in the trailer where I lived. Right. My school was where I got to be me because I couldn't be me at home. Right. So that's why I give back to my school so much. My high school, Talawanda High School in Oxford, Ohio. I was like, because the people I went to school with, man, they always said you funny. They always said I could make it, even though I don't know if they believed it or not. But it was just like, the teachers liked me so much, but they couldn't ever stay mad at me because even though I'd be talking during class and just being a smart aleck sometimes, I guess I was endearing, you know, like I am to black women, unlike yourself.
What's your craziest stories?
Oh, like road or growing up?
Road.
Oh man.
Anybody rough the stage?
Yeah, Louisville one time. There was a night before Thanksgiving, a guy named Spike Davis had a one-nighter in Louisville. I was living in Cincinnati, and I drove down Louisville to this show, but it was one of them shows where the comedy club and the club's in the same room. Okay. So the show's supposed to start at 7. It don't start till 8. I'm last, so now I'm not going up till 10:30, 11. So now people are coming in to go to the club. Mm-hmm. And I started bagging on this dude. Me and him were back and forth. And it's actually the crowd's into it because it was hard because I was fighting the bar. Right. And I said something again. Why don't you come on stage? I don't know why I kept saying that early in my career. And I looked up, I looked over. I don't know where these two dudes came from. They had gold fronts. They was sagging. They looked like they ain't had nothing to lose. They was on the stage. I broke the long jump record that night. I jumped so far off that stage, I went, oh! I jumped into the DJ booth. Like there was people. I jumped over them, landed in the DJ booth. I still got the mic, so now I'm still talking from the DJ booth. They usher these two dudes out, and this one I knew this might be a problem. They usher these two dudes out. The show's over. They give me my money. They usher me out the back door, And this guy's now taking him to a hotel. He's got his gun right next to the seat. And I'm going, what you got there? He goes, hey, there's some drug boys, man. He goes, so we're just going to just go back to your hotel. Don't come out. I said, hotel? I said, nah, I'm about to get my stuff and drive back to Cincinnati tonight. I ain't staying all night here. So I drove back and I was like, yo, that was wild.
You ever been booed?
Booed once at LA, place called The Rage. It was a gay bar. I didn't know it was gay because I'm trying to get up in LA, so I'm just calling places. And because I'm living in San Diego, now I'm comfortable enough. I feel like I got 5-10 minutes I can do LA. Place called The Rage on Santa Monica. They said, yeah, we have a variety show on Tuesdays. So you sign up at 4 o'clock. You got to show your face. Come back at 9. We tell you if you made the show, and then the show starts at 10. I came, I signed up, put comedian. I'm looking, it's all like singing and dancing. I was like, oh, yeah.
Damn.
So I come back at 9. They say, yeah, you on the show. You last. I was like, okay. So I get there, and then the dudes just start showing up. I was like, there's a lot of dudes here. Like, keep in mind, I'm young. I'm like 21, 22. I'm like, there's a lot of dudes here. And I was like, man, is this a gay bar? And like, oh shit, because I'm by myself, keep in mind.
Yes.
So I'm backstage, and everybody doing like, they're singing, they're dancing, all this other shit. I go, man, are they gonna have a comedian or what? Shannon, I came out there. They go, we got a comedian. And I was like, the crowd, it was silent. I walked out there, I go, what's up, LA? It was like, they look at me like straight white male. Why are you in our space?
Boo.
Yo, you know the Apollo, right?
Yeah.
Apollo's where you see the boo. But whenever somebody gets booed at the Apollo, you hear a boo first. You hear a boo, and then the crowd joins in. Same. I told a joke, and they looked at me, and I heard a boo, and I said, I'm about to get booed at a gay club. And I just closed my eyes. I said, I'm not even here right now. It was so brutal. It was like, but it didn't come out like the Apollo. It was like, boo, boo, you suck. I mean, we suck, but you ain't funny. A guy came out, like they were dragging him on a chariot, but it was a wagon, but they made it look like a chariot.
Yeah.
2 guys with the Ving Rhames shit from Pulp Fiction. They dragged this dude out and they gonged me. I got booed and gonged, and my dumb thinks I'm in LA.
Right.
Like somebody, I don't know, I should probably leave. It's gay.
But
I'm in LA. I'm still like trying to network.
Right.
And this one guy sees me, he goes, hey, you're funny. This is not the right crowd. And then he had a card. He put a card in my pocket. He goes, but if you need a massage, call me. I was like this, I'm out. That's what I said, I'm out. Never come back. That place is still open, I think.
BET Comic View, you the host.
Yeah.
What was that experience like? And did black comedians, because that's supposed to be a safe black space,
Right.
and you ain't black.
Yeah, really?
I just noticed that.
Wow. Look at you not defending black women, but you notice a white man. Yeah, that was interesting because how it all happened was interesting. I'm in the Navy. I'm still active duty, but I won the funniest black comedian San Diego contest.
Right.
There was a radio station called Z90, and they said, we're looking for the funniest black comedian in San Diego. So I pulled over for cell phones. I called, I wrote the number down. Then when I got home, I called. And I didn't say it was black, but I didn't say it was white. I did put some bass in my voice. I was like, hey, yeah, you got the contest? Yeah, I went into that. Yeah, right? So I get there, I'm white, I win the contest. And keep in mind, San Diego,
Right.
It's not like Brooklyn or some Atlanta. What the competition wasn't that stiff. But first prize was an audition for Comic View. So that got me the audition. And I got on the show. Mm-hmm. And back in the day, Comic View was a contest. Mm-hmm. I kept winning my rounds.
Right.
And then I got the hour special.
Right.
Get the hour special. And all this time, I'm still in the Navy. So I just drove up to LA because they filmed the whole season in a week. So I just drove to LA for a week and came back. So literally, I'm on TV and waving cars on the base at the same time. So every now and then, a black dude pull up and be like, was you on BT last night? Yeah. Keep going. Have a good day, sir. Yeah. So I ended up, I got the job, and yeah, there was obviously some backlash. A lot of comics wasn't happy, but looking back, I get it. When I'm white, it's a black show. There weren't that many black shows, and I was new. I didn't have the cachet. Like I wasn't like, oh, that's Gary. He's been around for a while. I didn't know a lot of people.
Right.
So it was just like, and Samore said it best. Like Samore was a host a couple years before I was.
Yes.
I was talking to her at that time, and I remember she goes, Gary, it don't matter who gets the job, they gonna get hate. She goes, I was the first woman. So they was a lot of the male comics was like, now they're giving it to a woman. Right. She goes, you being white makes it super easy to hate.
Yeah.
So she goes, it don't matter who they pay. And it's true. Whoever becomes a host, again, in the green room, we talk about this as comics. We always be like, we all have our choice who they think should have got it.
Right.
So it don't matter who the host is. I was just easy because I was white.
Specials. How difficult is it to get a special?
You mean like
Netflix or HBO?
I haven't got a Netflix one yet. I think it's because I'm white. They're not giving white guys specials on Netflix. No, I don't know why. I think you beat yourself up. Like I saw Godfrey on here, and he was talking about that too. And I was like, when I saw Godfrey, I go, yeah. I think every comic thinks they deserve that Netflix special, and I'm no different. I've been in the trenches. I've done my work, but I think I had a conversation with Bill Burr at the Burbank Airport years ago, and he just goes, you know what? I'm gonna be so funny they can't deny me. And I went, so all I can control is to be funny. It's out of my hands if a network wants to do a special with me or not. Right. But I mean, hopefully, yeah, that's the goal, to get one day on Netflix. Right. But if it never happens, I got a great life. Right. I sell a lot of tickets. I'm good. But I do want it. Right. Don't get it twisted.
No, don't get it twisted.
And I put a lot of work into my specials. I don't just put them out there like, oh, I got a special, let me just throw it out there. I put a lot of thought into it, like, okay, I really want to be saying something. Especially, I got two in the can right now. We're shopping. Right. Man, the first one is very, well, you're not going to like it. Hate my dad, avoiding the process server type. But the second one we got out there too, is very military. I purposely did no racial jokes because I hear that sometimes, he just black, white shit. I heard people when we got the divorce, he ain't gonna have no act. Now he's divorced. I said, oh, you have no idea.
What about cancel culture? Are there words? Is there something that, because, and we talk about what they could say back in the 80s and the 70s, even on sitcoms. I mean, the Jeffersons and all Archie Bunker, I think all in the family. Yeah. Man, you can't talk like that now. Nah. How do you navigate that, Gary?
Well, obviously I can't say the N-word. I thought you were getting that. I go, but yeah, I can't say that. But I think live comedy shows, you're fine. And that's why we don't want your cell phones out. Right. Because I think people go to shows with a level of expectation. And if you don't meet that expectation, they're disappointed. Right. But some people want to hear the uncomfortable shit. Yeah. For sure. And I'm like that. I think, but that's the thing, you got to ask yourself, is it worth it? For me to stand on my 2 feet and say, I'm going to do this joke, I don't care, I say what I want, is it worth it if you get the backlash? Because eventually it's going to come. And have you created a strong enough fan base that cancel culture can't mess with you? Because there are people like Chappelle, he can't be canceled. Yeah. Ricky Gervais, he cannot be canceled. Andrew Schultz cannot be canceled. I would think Shane Gillis right now, Katt can't be canceled. Kevin can. Kevin's very corporate. Right. Kevin has to be careful what he says. You know what I mean? Yes. So that's what I'm saying. Someone like Katt and Chappelle, they don't have these corporate deals. Kevin's got to be careful. And I'm sure there's some things he wants to say. Right. But he ain't trying to mess up that check. Just like you. You don't defend black women. You know what I mean? There's a lot. I'm sure Wrangler's about to call you. John Deere.
I gotta do some water on this one. There you go. See, I should have never opened that can of worms, because I know
you don't, Shannon.
I think you ought to go on her show next week.
Whose show?
I ain't telling you. How has comedy changed from when you first got in to what we see right now?
We were at the mercy. We needed somebody to put us on. So now, like I said, you can control your own shit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I got a guy that goes on road with me right now called the mailman. Mm-hmm. He's a TikTok guy. Mm-hmm. And he didn't start as a stand-up, he started as a social media guy. Right. But he wants to be a stand-up. So I tell you, he's from Cincinnati. I like the hometown is always good. So I bring him on the road now so he can work his act out. but there's no gatekeepers with him, so to speak. So he could have never did something like that years ago.
Right.
And now, like, you don't need somebody's permission to put a joke out. Man, I thought about that too. I was like, man, we all knew those funny guys that never popped because for whatever reason, the powers that be didn't put them on.
Right.
But, you know, so now you can't blame nobody else. If you don't have a Netflix special, if you don't, quote unquote, get your turn, why hasn't Hollywood ever taken a chance on me? Take a chance on yourself.
You look at the comedians. So where are you with these comedians now? There are a lot of comedians on social media. They do their thing on IG and things like that. And I was reading somebody I forget who it was that says, yeah, doing a skit for like 5 minutes is entirely different than writing an entire set for 30, 45 an hour.
Right. Yeah. Facts. It's a different muscle. It's a different muscle. Like, it's like, yeah.
To hit that, as Katt said, to do it over and over and over and over and over.
I don't look at it like an art because to me it comes so easy. So when people are like, how you do that? I go, how you not do it?
Right.
When people say I'm scared of public speaking, I go, for what? That's a captive audience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a different muscle. I'm not never gonna knock somebody for like building a fan base and making money on the road because I've learned there's enough for all of us. Mm-hmm. And I'd rather be cool with people and hopefully they bring me into a sketch or they have a show and they think of me. You know what I mean? You had Desi Banks on.
Yes.
We're doing real estate together. Wow. You know what I mean? Yeah. Can you imagine if I went like, that hack, he ain't funny,
right.
Do this. Hey, now we got this guy, Gene Johnson. He's a builder in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. I bought a house. I wanted to flip it. I got hold of him. He tell me I called Desi.
Right.
I was like, I got this flip house, man. I saw you've been flipping houses. I was like, who's your guy? He gave me this guy, Gene Johnson, his name. I called him. He goes, yeah, I'll help you flip it. And then now he brings us in. He goes, what? You guys ever thought about doing something together? Like two comedians doing flip houses or Airbnbs, right. and we're gonna film it. We don't know if anything comes of it, but you imagine if I just went off on Desi?
Right.
He defends black women. He does.
Me too.
Yeah.
Hold up. Is this true? You were at a strip joint and
Jesus,
you got in trouble for not tipping.
Yeah. How you be getting this information?
People.
That was the streets talking.
Yeah.
So
I mean, how you gonna go to the club and look at cheeks and not pay?
I didn't know. I was 18. I'm living in DC.
Yeah.
It was middle of the day. Somebody said, you know, you can see titties. We got a spot. You can see titties. That's the real titties. You know? I'm sheltered, man. I didn't hear puberty till late.
Right.
I went to school mostly white women. So I was a virgin until I was 19. Mm-hmm. So I get to DC, Chocolate City. I said, where you see titties? So they was like, okay. I took another guy's ID, another military guy's ID, and there was this one strip club in DC, like, if you were military, they didn't really look.
Right.
They let you slide. So I got another guy's ID, they let me in. I sit down, I'm like the only dude in there, right? The waitress keeps coming over.
Definitely
like,
the only white dude.
Yeah. There was like nobody in this club. There was like 11 a.m. I got there early. So there's like one stripper and one waitress. And the stripper's really trying to dance for me hard because nobody else is there. And I'm literally like this. I'm right next to the stage, right? The waitress comes in, you want something to drink? I'm good. You want something? No, I'm good. One, I'm scared you guys for my ID again.
Right.
So I said, I'm good. So then the stripper, she's really going to town. I'm not stripping. I'm not tipping. I'm just looking. It's like an hour. I bought no drinks. I haven't tipped.
You ain't tipping and sipping. You got to get up out of there.
Literally, the waitress go like this. She goes, you want to drink? I said, no, I'm good. She goes, you just come looking free. I was like this. I'm out. I just got left. I was like, she snapped on me too. You just come looking free. I was like this. Actually, I did. That's really why I came.
Are you a strip club connoisseur?
No. I go, but I ain't a strip club connoisseur.
What's the best one you've been in? Is it Atlanta?
No. Shades, Ocho Rio, Jamaica. That was the wildest night I've ever seen at a strip club in my whole life.
Really?
I did a bit on it, one of my specials about 10 years ago.
You say Ocho Rios?
Ocho Rios.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's called Shades. It's still there. Mm-hmm. It recently went viral. They have a little person that comes out, dude. Uh-huh. And he be knocking them down. He's slanging like he normal. Right? Like below his knee type stuff. Literally. So I went there. I went there with my boys, 2 white dudes. 3 white dudes going to the strip club in Jamaica. What could go wrong, right? And it's in the hills, right? So what happened, Tom Joyner used to have the Tom Joyner cruise. Yeah. I think he still does it, right? But when you were a performer, they fly you in. You only take the cruise half the time, so it's 7 days, you're on for 3 days.
Right.
So we were picking it up in Jamaica. So I flew in the night before. Mm-hmm. I got real cool with the
locals?
No, the guys at the resort that worked there. The bartender, everybody knew me, right? Yeah. So I got my 2 buddies, 2 white dudes, right? When I get there, I got there like an hour after them. He's making out with some chick in the pool. I was like, dang, Brian, ain't waste no time, right?
Right.
We go to dinner. He's telling me, yeah, this girl, man, I got to meet her at the club on the resort, you know? Mm-hmm. He thinks it's going to pop off.
Right.
We eat dinner. We go to the club. She making out with a different dude on the dance floor. Now he's pissed. He goes, man, what the? I go, what? Yeah, she's a hoe. she doing what dudes do.
Right.
I was giving her all the respect in the world. And then, so now he's trying to leave.
Right.
He's like, man, I'm out of here. I'm going out tonight. I said, you can't leave the resort, bro. And now one of the little bartender dudes, he goes, Mr. Gary, he cannot leave the resort. It's not safe to go by himself. My buddy's so lit and so mad, we can't stop him, right? So he goes, the dude's like, dude, I get off at 11. I'll take you guys out, right? Mm-hmm. That probably wasn't the smartest move either. He picks us up. We got to meet him at the end of the resort, which is like a mile walk, by the way, to the road. He picks us up in this little beat up vehicle. Now he got 3 of his buddies in the car. So there's literally like 7 of us in this tiny car. We going up this hill. I'm like, I don't know about this. Shades is different, man. You walk up, it's like a steel door. And they slide it open. And then you walk down some stairs. And this just opened up. You ever seen Dusk Till Dawn?
Yeah.
It was like that. Mm-hmm. You walk in, I was like, whoa, it's a lot. These strippers saw these 3 white dudes walk in. We were fresh meat. They started attacking, right? I told my boys, I hadn't drank. I said, give me all your money. Give me all your money. I'm put in this pocket. I go, so nobody can rip us off or steal from us, right? So we're sitting there, watching lap dance stuff. All of a sudden, everything changed. Whistles blowing. This little person came out the back. I said, what's he about to do? Yo, he started laying pipe on these strippers right in front of us.
Come on, man.
Yo, it's on the internet now. It got posted like a couple years ago that, look at this, like on World Star Hip Hop.
Right.
And I was like, I told everybody that shit was true. I told him it was true. Because nobody believed me. He's knocking them down, one after the other. I ain't lying. One girl spun him. Ping! I was like, yo! She was, while he's inside her, he spun.
Come on.
Strike me down right now if I'm lying. Spun him. I was like, yo, this is another level. So then my boy's like, the dude, the wild one, he's like, yo, man, give me $100. I said, for what? He goes, there was like a seedy hotel next to Shades. Mm-hmm. He goes, the girl's gonna take me over there. I don't know if the girl was 70 and room was 30, or the room was 30 and the girl was 70, but he can't do $100. So I said, yo, no. I said, we can't do that. Tell her to meet you at the resort. You're not going over there.
Right.
And then the local guy that would drive me around, he goes, don't let him go. They're gonna shake him down. They said, my Jamaican accent is terrible, by the way. Right. So he was like, they're going to shake him down. Either he's going to go over there, she's going to milk him for more money, or he's getting set up and they're going to rob him.
Right.
So I told him no. So now he's mad at me, cussed me out, calls me a block. You blocking, bro. You blocking some white. You blocking, bro. You don't defend black women.
Right.
Please, I'm just kidding. So we're waiting now. The guy that drove us there, he had to park down the hill. You got to walk up this hill to get the Shades. He parks above the hill, so now we're waiting on him. And it's like a 20-minute wait, and I see this dude scope me out. I saw it. Mm. He's looking at me. He goes, hey, money man, buy me and my friend some beers. And I go, I ain't got no money. I pointed to the club, I go, all the girls took my money. He goes, nah, you the money man. Buy me and my friend some beers. It's getting scary now. Yeah. And I'm going, I'm starting to sweat. Just then, the dude pulled up with his car. Yeah. What is it, patois? Is that Jamaican? Patois? They start speaking that patois. Lily looked at me and goes, okay, you got your N-word, I got mine, we're good. Let me go. When I took all of them in my pocket, we got back to the resort, I gave it to the dude, the driver.
Right.
I said, take it. I swear to God, dude start crying. He's like, you don't have to do this. I go, dude, you saved this tonight.
Right.
Take it. It might have been like $500.
Right.
I was like, dude, I don't want it. Take it. Thank you. We had a great night.
Right.
I got a story. I'm going to put it in my special. I'm about to make money off this. I'm going on Shannon Sharpe.
Yeah.
Talk about it. You know, the podcast today.
You
Defend
gonna blow.
black women. Sorry about that.
We're going to get you out of here a little bit of your upbringing. Grew up in a trailer park, am I correct?
Yep.
How many bedrooms?
3.
3 bedrooms, 3 kids, and parents.
No. 7.
7 kids?
No, 5.
5.
My twins was from my dad, so we had Michelle, Dallas, Kyle, Ashley, me. 5.
5.
Yeah, Michelle was in and out. Michelle was my stepsister.
Right.
She was older.
And the parents? 3 bedrooms.
I had my own.
Because you were the oldest.
Yeah, I was way older too. It was like a 9-year difference. And then the other 3 was in one.
Right.
And then my mom and stepdad was in the
So
back.
was your upbringing like Eminem character in 8 Mile?
Probably worse. My stepdad is literally one of the worst human beings on the planet.
But y'all did have indoor plumbing and running water and things like that.
Yeah, but
y'all
in the winter, I had to climb under there. They got this thing called skirting, goes around the bottom of the trailer, stops the wind and everything. And you got to crawl under there and you got to duct tape the pipes.
Yeah.
And then you always got to keep the water running a little bit so it doesn't freeze. Yeah. So we had running water.
How does it feel? I mean, to be embraced like you are by black culture.
It's the best. I wish everybody had that feeling.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's weird at the airport because then I'll get stopped and black people start freaking out and white people are like, who's he play for?
Right.
Why don't we know him?
Right.
So
What made you join the military?
to get out of the trailer park, get away from that dude,
Right.
my stepdad.
Why the Navy? Why not the Army or the Marines or Air Force?
A buddy of mine woke me up. It was my senior year. I didn't take the ACT, didn't take the SAT. Nobody went to college in my family. I didn't know you had to do stuff like that.
Right.
He woke me up. It was a Saturday morning, and he goes, "Gary, come on." And his dad was in the car waiting up front. I'm looking at him like, what? Mike goes, "Come on." He's in my ear. He's in my room. I don't know how. I think my mom let him in.
Right.
And she was like, "You gotta get out of here." I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "You're gonna be stuck here your whole life." So he took me down to the recruiting station. He had already joined the Navy.
Right.
So the Navy, Marines, and Army was all in the same building.
Yeah,
I don't know
right.
where Coast Guard and Air Force was.
Yeah.
So I met with all 3 that day. And Marines said, "We're the first ones in. I'm out. I don't want to be the first ones in.
No,
I'll be second or third. I don't want to be the first one in." The Army guy was lying because he knew I wrestled in high school, and he was like, "Yo, you're a wrestler?" He goes, "You join the Army, you could wrestle." I said, "I'm 3-30, bro. I've won 3 times. I lost 30. I beat the same guy 3 times. Nathan Eby, Edgewood High School. Still know his name." I said, "I've been pinned 29 times." I go, "There's not a high school gymnasium in Cincinnati, Ohio. You show me the ceiling, I'll tell you what freaking high school it is. I saw them all, Shannon." You know what I mean? So the Navy guy was just cool. He's like, "Oh, we can get you in." I was like, "All right, I'll join the Navy." And my stepdad always told me, he used to call me a freeloader. I'm in high school. We used to be like, "You got to stop freeloading off your mom, man. You got to get a job." Keep in mind, I don't have a car. We don't have any money. He's not working.
Right.
And he always told me, like, you have to be out of the house by the time you're 18. I said, "Where am I going to go?" He goes, "I don't care. You got to be gone." So I left when I was 17. Beat him to the punch.
Wow.
Yep, that was on purpose. I said, "When can I leave?" They said, "When you turn 18. I was like, "July 26th. They said, "You can leave July 23rd. I said, "Do it."
Best decision of your life?
Bye.
How different would your Gary Owen's life have been had he not joined the military and got out of there when he did?
I'd be fat, my wife would be fat, and I'd have a fridge full of Mountain Dew and Doritos.
But it wouldn't be a sister.
Probably not. I'd be miserable. I'd be looking at all the black girls on TV like, "I wonder what that's like." I definitely would have been a sister.
Thanks for stopping by, Gary. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Gary Owens, ladies and gentlemen.
All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life, I've been grinding all my life. Look, all my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life, I've been grinding all my life.